or just jumping up the leaderboard. And that is Seti and Cammy, Levin.
Yeah, absolutely. Seti and Cammy, an interesting day. Many people came into this weekend with Seti and Cammy in their top 5, some even in their top 3, a lot in their top 3 actually.
Okay.
And of course you would admit it's Seti and Cammy.
Seti and Cammy.
Well, they've been one of the few teams this season that have had some semblance of consistency, and so they look like a nailed on to be a team that does incredibly well. It hasn't been that day for them in day 1, and so a lot of eyes are going to be on them to see how they react here in day 2.
Yeah, a lot of Cammy and Seti's problems over the years have been when they're contested. Yesterday, not contested, a completely uncontested drop spot at a drop spot they know well. A lot of people would have expected them to do better, and a lot of the time it was just down to solo clutches. We saw one of them going down. They had good surge as well. It was often just other teams that were causing them problems because they needed to adapt to these new storm surge changes. So it's not necessarily things that they were doing wrong. Maybe they haven't necessarily developed as strong of a game plan as we've seen from these guys in the past, but I think today it's going to be all about making sure they make it to that end game together as a duo, because we know what we can expect from this team. It's just been a little bit disjointed so far this weekend. They need to ramp it up if they want to find some success today.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like in general, a lot of teams have struggled to find like a really nailed on game plan in comparison to other seasons. As a whole, there's a bunch of teams I've spoken to who have said they've got that same problem. I feel like it's less of the actual game plan, sometimes a bit of the execution. Like you're saying, they're getting in a lot of situations that are typical of Cammy and Seti, but they are able to deal with some of the aggression from a lot of teams around them, right? And that's causing them issues. So hopefully today, they get their firing boots on and they can start hitting a couple more shots and perform how we expect them to perform.
Yeah, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. There's another one of my classic old person idioms. But maybe season 1 isn't going to be Cammy and Seti's season. But I have no doubt as we go through the competitive year, this is a duo that is undeniable. I can't wait to see how they do going forward. You know what? I can't wait to see how they do today. However, did they make the top 10 yesterday? Let's take a look at the leaderboard. We'll see some duos on there that you know and love, and you've seen
Vidal, Vino,
achieve
and
greatness in the
Jason,
past. But actually,
Raisin,
in 10th
Vidal,
position, Loco Wild and Iron.
March and
To be honest, I
Malbuka,
didn't expect them to make
Queasy,
this much of an
Thomas
impression
HD,
so early in the grand finals, Minnie.
Halwingu,
Yeah, and neither did I. Neither did a lot of people, I think. It was a great first game victory off of those guys. And also,
Pinky,
us
and
on the desk, a lot of people
Mixon.
at home would have been surprised at the fact that they were actually able to get that VR. I think for me, it was just,
Sean
was that going to be the end of
Low-killed.
their day? Was that going to be their moment in the spotlight? And it wasn't. They continued to be
Tayson,
quite consistent the rest of the games. And to find
let's
yourself
see.
in 10th place here, 11, it's not bad at
Down.
all. Because we often see teams that
The
have a good
Royals.
first game, maybe lesser known teams, they get a little bit too excited and get a
First
rush of
game
blood, and then
in,
things start to go worse. But it hasn't happened for them.
Yeah, no, as we established earlier, I've done a lot of these FNCSs now, and we see teams do that all the time, but these guys have stuck at it, and to be the team, a team who, came up through the lower bracket, they were actually the team that won the last game of lower bracket round 3, so technically, when it comes to FNCSs, they actually won back-to-back games, if you want to get a bit fancy with it, but these guys have stuck there. We'll see how they do, obviously landing towards the north of the map. They're sort of around, the likes of Eclipse and Dexy, Queasy and Thomas, that sort of fight at Lavish Lair was one that they were doing a great job of sort of third party in at times, right, and trying to get surge there. So definitely an interesting team, but honestly, man, I think the team everybody's eyes have been on, Verdil and Reason up in first place. I mean, talk of surprises, I definitely did not expect to see them there, Minnie.
Yeah, I didn't either. Even on socials, I was looking. Vidil said, I don't know how I'm in first, but we're in first. We're here and we're ready to go. It was an interesting day for them yesterday. They didn't have any massive pop-off games, right? We didn't see a massive victory out from them. We didn't see a victory out from them at all. But they were really solid in their game plan. They didn't have a single game where they had no points. They always got into that placement points. They always had some eliminations as well. And just the way that they were playing was really, really nice. They had a solid plan. They're not afraid to fight early game, which is something that I like about this team, because with these new Storm Surge changes, needing all of that damage, being proficient at getting that damage done early by fighting other teams is clearly working out for them.
I want to see the leaderboard again, because I want to see the competition for Verdil and Reason. Verdil and Reason didn't get a victory royale yesterday, but they
Contesten annars kommer det bli Vino och Tayson, och så säkert Malibu kommer.
That they have really blown away a lot of the
Den har
competition.
säkert de två som kontar så är de kanske Thomas
When I
HD.
see these guys already in second place, I just feel
så vidt unna 20 poeng unna bare. Det er ikke stor forskjell. Vi nå egentlig kanskje til beste Fraggerson i gamet. Jeg vet ikke om han er en Fragger nå. Nei, jo, han er Tyson Agile. Kanskje.
Everybody was struggling with early surge. Like, if you can tell me, really good teams that weren't struggling with early surge, it'll be hard to come by. But then once they sort of understood the assignment, Veno did what Veno does, right? Veno was tied for the most snipes yesterday. 11, he was spamming that sniper rifle. Tayson was setting them up to play for high ground a lot more, which was part of the friction they were having as a team earlier in the season, Mini. And so to see them actually being able to get in these positions more, Veno definitely rewarded Tayson by then, putting up excellent performances in these types of positions. That win there as well that he got was so clutch, right? Came down to literally half a second. So these guys are looking very strong. They have momentum now, and that's a scary prospect for anyone that wants to even think about holding the AXA champions.
Yeah, I was really impressed with this team yesterday. The way they changed their strategy on the fly, they were looking towards that east side of the map for their surge tanks. They went
Mongol, men han håper også
Tayson to fight a little bit more early game, which we highlighted yesterday. They're very, very good at, and they're one of those teams that, of course, are doing the damage in late game as well. They're always in that top 3 in those final 5 zones in terms of damage dealt. So it seems like they're really, really fragging out when it comes to that side of things. I mean, Veno, of course, what a sniper as well. We have to talk about how good he is at that. Thomas HD. He was getting kind of overthrown here in terms of the sniping king, and I'm interested to see how this goes today, because a lot of their damage when it comes to the surge for Veno and Tayson came from Veno's snipe.
Good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I made a bold claim yesterday that I said, I think he might be the best sniper in EU, and I'm sure a lot of the Danish people who used to like me, definitely weren't a fan of me saying that, but Thomas obviously was keeping up with the snipes. Some of the snipes Thomas was hitting yesterday were ridiculous on height. Unfortunately, Veno was definitely trying to match him up there. They're both tied for 11 shots so far, so we'll see at the end of the day who's coming out on top. But ultimately, when it comes to Thomas and Queasy, these guys, I mean, a lot of people were worried about them, Mini. They thought, look, they're contested or spawned by Cringe and Noms. I don't know how that's going to play out for them. Are they going to get to play 12 out of 12 games? And most people thought no. And so that would mean, they probably won't be as good as what we could expect from them. But they're not letting that affect them. I think the experience is really coming through from this team. They're not going to let, some team come through and roll them over or spawn. They're going to show us what they can do. And they've done that so well. Thomas, on these mid-ground layers with the mythic shotgun, oh my goodness, it was filthy, some of the things he was doing yesterday.
It was absolutely insane. I think being contested has actually benefited this team. They only went down off spawn twice yesterday, and they're a team that have just been able to make it to the end game when they do make it off spawn in a really good way. I was looking back at their games as well. They played a game on low ground, a game on mid ground, and a game on heights. They seem to be able to do it all.
This time last year, boys, we got to witness one of the great showdowns in a major. It was Thomas and Malabuka versus Tayson and Merstash. There was about 1 point separating these two at the top of the chart. 1 point separating Thomas and Malabuka from the Axe of Champions, because Merstash and Tayson were the one to take it. And this duo, Merstash and Malabuka, I mean, personally, Minnie, it's my dream team.
Yeah, I think this is a duo that really are looking good right now.
De kan også vinne,
good end games, of course. We know
de
this duo
topp 3 akkurat nå.
are all about getting end games and making the most of it, and they did do that very well. Back-to-back second places for those guys. I think the problems that they had yesterday, the reason why they're not in first place was because they were taking risks. Around 7th zone, they were going for a big refresh. Even though they didn't necessarily need the surge or even the refresh itself, they take these big risks in these fights, and then sometimes, of course, that doesn't quite work out for them. What I do like, though, they're making it to these end games. They're making their consistency, which is something that we haven't seen from them all the time, right? Levin, we've seen them have really good times off spawn and then sometimes really bad times off spawn. So it's nice to see them generating a little bit of consistency, even though the zones were kind of in their favor yesterday. So maybe that's a question mark for today. Will they have the same success?
I mean, if you want to roll back the years and look at FNCSs of the past, Malabuka and Merstash were always a team that was getting a bunch of eliminations but could never, get, top 5 type of games. They'd get to an end game and that'd be it. Now they're able to do that, right? The back-to-back second places for Malabuka showed a bit of nous, a bit of more experience, and so if they can start pairing that together with higher limb games, yeah, they'll be rising for sure.
We have mentioned the Axe of Champions, but let's take a look at the prize pot. How much could our duos be taking home tonight? 170,000 to the top place duo. Life-changing money, and that's not all they would take, Mini Miner.
No, it's not. First and second place today will be getting their tickets to the Global Championships later on this year. So, of course, EU has 2 spots for that this season, and I think a lot of players will be keeping their eyes on that. The prize money is amazing as well, of course, 85k each. That's not too bad.
When someone mentions
85
Global
000
Championships, I get chills, boys. I just think of
the
these
Axis
duos
champion
on stage, playing out of their minds and making their dreams come true. And you know what? After today, some of these duos will be a step closer to raising the Axis champions on LAN. Day 2 of the grand finals starts now.
What makes a champion? A champion is someone who ain't afraid of the big stage.
Canada.
A champion is someone who stands tall against any
opponent. Dasken ansiktet.
A champion is someone who can do it not once, not twice, but 5 times. A champion isn't someone who never fails, but someone who never quits. A champion has an edge. They have ice in their veins. They can't be cracked. A champion is someone who can step away from the battle bus for 2 years and come back. Champions innovate. Champions inspire. Champions conquer the world. Again, and again, and again. Champions can do it when the lights are the brightest, and they can come from the shadows when you least expect it. Champions come from far and wide to show you how great they are. A champion's journey begins long before a title is won. But the grand finals is the road all champions must take to reach their destination. This is the place where they make it known. Are you ready? This is where champions
Bro, I should have put because
The time has come. The finale, day 2 of the EU FNCS Grand Finals. And today, Takada, we crown ourselves a champion. Over $800,000 to be won, and the coveted spot at the Global Championship later this year. There is so much at stake today.
Every single player in the top 4 are running for the title of the best player in EU. All 8 players competed in the Global Championships. All 8 players had at least one top 5 FNCS finals finish last season. We're starting off strong. Lavish player, a battle continuing from yesterday. Thomas HD, Queasy, can they take it today?
Yeah, one thing I noticed about this fight yesterday is Cringe. He was kind of struggling in these off spawns, and it wasn't necessarily because of Thomas and Queasy. 2 different games down to fall damage, trying to grab one of those weapons at the top, which kind of made it easy for Queasy and Thomas to roll over. And I think this time they're taking more of a passive approach going against Thomas and Queasy. You see them disengaging out of the main building of Lavish Layer altogether, moving towards the south. There's vending machine, there is loot down there, but you're kind of giving up the priority position to Queasy and Thomas very, very early on.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier, but when playing Lavish Layer, you want to land at the top of the building. It secures the best position for this early engagement, but also maximizes your efficiency in terms of the loot path. So seeing that Thomas and Queasy won the drop, their opponents are gonna disengage. Noms Cringe are not trying to risk it all, especially in the first game of day 2. We talked about it earlier, but as a reminder, the points are multiplied by 1.5. It's 6 points per elimination, as well as the placement points being multiplied. Mixon also connecting shots right off the bat, allowing him to get some pressure in.
Yeah, he's trying to help Pings and alleviate some of that pressure. Luckily, he did just enough damage. Pings able to survive with just 1 HP and a dream, and you can kind of hear the crash pads coming out. Kind of leaves no choice but to disengage, especially from a fight happening this early. Starting on top of the mountain, you gotta imagine there's no materials to really continue this battle. So for Mixon and Pings, specifically Pings, he's gonna be able to escape and fight another day. Those points are so valuable because you can already see that one elimination, 6 points already out of the gates for them.
Det är fortsatt inte så mycket mass.
But take a look at this, Jacob. The battle of the ages, it seems like now. Pink Vico up against Kiro and Kiduo for that forecast tower.
Kiro.
With the 2 elims on the board. for Kiddo and Kiro.
Let's
actually just take a look at what
happened.
happened.
Yeah, yesterday this was something that's been going on almost 6 out of 6 games between these two teams, and just unfortunately enough, Vico go down first. Pink just gets sandwiched between both of those players, Kiro and Kaduo. Does look like they're going to be able to get that forecast tower in this game, and an early hot start between that off-spawn exchange.
Får de noen beams? Nei.
This time around, they can
Olle
easily
Mack
start
full
to close
HP,
the
borte
gap
fra
between
Thomas
them
HD.
and the rest of the competition.
That's 12 points, Jacob. Two
Kan jo ikke bli
eliminations off the
one-shot
bat like
med en
that.
shotgun.
Instantly granting you 12 points is a huge change for the leaderboard. We saw here, Thomas and Queasy. Looks like it was
Okay, nå føler jeg det
who built on top of the lair, but you can see that
Grå hammer
game
ben
one winners
grå
of day
ut opp.
one,
Men
Ariana's duo partner,
kommer til
were
grønn og
creeping
sånt,
in
da kommer det
close
til
by,
test med
so
sånn.
they knew that the third
Har du
party
lyst på en bra
was getting there and the engagement
grønn
was
auto,
no
så burde du ha
longer worth
laser.
it.
Blå laser drum.
A huge end
Epic
to day one.
versjon.
Can they keep up that momentum
Rarity.
here in day two?
Yeah,
laser,
leading up to this FNCS
drum,
finals, everybody had
or
questions about
the
Tayson, his
recoil
dedication,
reducer.
commitment to the game, and they were even asking Veno, why are you playing with somebody that isn't necessarily putting his all? Well, guess what? Tayson's just a prime-time player. He shows up when it matters, and all of his experience throughout the last couple years kind of leads him to be one of the star players. Of course, those 5 FNCS championships kind of helps along the way, and then him and Veno combining. Every single time I see them take the stage, they're just getting better each and every single moment.
Yeah, and if Tayson's able to get his 6th here, it's going to tie him for the most overall FNCS titles across all regions, alongside Mero, Epic Whale, and Arkram, which are all NA-based players.
Very impressive. List the names. The accolade alone, even if the names aren't that impressive, it's just massive in its own right. Yanis Flixie, uncontested with Reckless Railways. Not too much change going on for them on that side of the map. But this one, this is the fight that more times than not ends up with a winner, even with a third party coming in. Thomas dealing most of the damage, but he gets sandwiched 2v1, almost stuck in a box. He's able to escape narrowly to try to live, but Queasy's there trying to alleviate the pressure, follow up on that damage that he laid down to begin with. Good job. Another shot could be landed, but instead of going full focus into that fight, you see him doing just enough to allow Thomas and him to disengage and heal up.
Only shields they have are, well, is that Flowberry Fizz. They're even aware that there are more duos in the surrounding area. They've got a bit of damage. They don't need the eliminations based on the risks that it's going to include. So they will back off here, continue farming up, continue looting, but it looks like another forecast battle. Henski walks Pixie. Nobody with a clear advantage yet.
I feel like you could tell teams yesterday hit the VODs after the day was done. More times than not, Hem and Vasquez were able to get this uncontested, giving them a huge advantage with the forecast tower. Somebody else, I think, was able to grab it. Pixie and Walks possibly, as Hen was kind of down there by himself. Vasquez was separated, so you got to imagine the forecast tower going over to Walks and Pixie. And so that kind of leaves a choice. Do you stay, you continue to fight this fight, especially since the zone is now going to force you in, or do you just try to disengage on out? You can't get what you came for, and so you got to kind of move on with the show.
You can see the duos already on the edge of the zone, kind of on the mini-map at the bottom right. You can see they're facing the players here at the forecast tower, kind of waiting for something to happen, whether it be them rotating back in zone or anything that opens up an option to take a few shots. They do have a few ridges, that natural environment to use as cover, so they are going to be protected. But forecast tower has been given up. Medallion traded.
Already got 3 of the forecast towers to kind of grab. Walks, Pixie gets 1. Kiro gets the other.
Reason.
So both of these teams are going to have the element of being able to see the next zone before the previous one does close. So they're going to have an advantage in terms of positioning. But there's definitely so many other intricacies into the game. Storm Surge, extra loot, materials that you need to get. So sometimes you can't just be like...
Pistol er en loot, da. Det er 0 recoil på den.
Reason has been in this position before. First place after day 1.
Oi da, til dem. Det er da autoshotgun, vet du. Bare blaster ned HP-et det til du er død.
So we'll see if history can be changed today. For Tini and Misha, though,
Veldig skummelt.
Elam's on the board. 12 points.
Skummelt.
They're in the zone, but
Jeg skulle spille mot noen med fysisk så burde du spille sånn boksfight. Eller du burde bestandig holde én boks unna. Du kan ikke være i samme boks. Se bare. En boks unna. Eller så lenge du ikke er i samme boks som dem, så skal det gå bra.
Drastic Storm Surge has been with, you know, sometimes we're seeing 12, 15 people that need to go down before it deactivates. Getting that early surge is so important, but you gotta be able to keep the flow going throughout the course of the game. Even if the first couple of zones you're ahead of surge, we've seen teams fall behind at a moment's notice. As you jump on board Vortexers and Voco. A team that I've seen progress and get better and better each and every season that they partake, and even got their first FNCS Finals win yesterday in a set lobby. So they're already on an upward trajectory, and they're already trying to third-party another fight for some cheeky surge opportunities.
Can they make it their second, Jacob?
Oh, den busken.
Boxed up in a nice position to kind of take shots on these engagements. And look at this, two of our top 4 duos right now. Malabuka, Merstash.
Hvor Savage, da?
It would be scary to see these two duos go into a full-out
Kom de ikke inn i et game, eller? Jo da. Nei, de qualifier ikke, da. Ah. Da skal han. Det er jo... Sada. Jeg tror at de qualifier ikke. Faen. Shit. Da håper jeg noe tasten da vinner. Faen, jeg visste ikke jeg. For det fikk jeg ikke så. Jeg finner ikke han finnes det dag 1. Så, ok nå, de som har vinn mest nå, det er Tyson og Vino, og så Malabuka. Så hvem han, ja, Vidal.
So as they try and replace walls and try and find angles, it's more just like a back and forth game of ping pong between these two duos.
And rightfully so, Cade and Diox were actually playing pretty well to start the day off yesterday. Even at one point, sharing first place on that leaderboard before
det er ikke noe særlig inntrykk som skjer hvis det er noe som skjer, så
kind of leaving what's left of that weapon cache on over to Cade and Diox. It's going to help their game out, help Metal that they were able to gab, because you know they land over towards fencing fields, and with so many teams, 3 contested teams on that side of the map, you can kind of see that there might not be too many opportunities to grab Metal, which is the hardest resource to gather.
You can see a lot of the duos here kind of surrounding the forecast tower that Pink and Vico and Kiro and Kiduo have been battling against almost all season long. But with the fight having ended so early on, there's nothing really to third party. Looks like Thomas and Queasy, though, are going to get a free combat cache. Nobody contesting it, even pulling the 4th zone here. They are a bit at the edge of it up north, so it would be nice to rotate a bit more centered, but they've got the extra loot, they've got the extra metal, and now they're free to continue with their rotate.
Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say interesting season, but this is one of those seasons to where you have so many different teams fighting for history, fighting for bragging rights on their own mind. If you look at Queasy and Thomas, this would have been, if they do win, Thomas's first FNCS title, even though he's been so close so many times. But the impressive thing is actually going to be on the other side. This will not only be his 4th FNCS title, but this will have been his 3rd duos championship, and every single time, Takata, it's with a different teammate. That just goes to show how impressive Queasy is and what he's able to do with his duos, no matter who it is by his side.
And each of those duos that Queasy was paired up with, it was their first FNCS win, including Thomas's if he's able to get it. I mean, you talked about his consistency. He has the most top 10 finishes in the world, not in EU, in the world. For FNCS finals at 14 top 10s, 10 top 5s,
Vino med sniper big og
in FNCS. So this could be history for Thomas HD. Veno Tayson now looking like they've secured the Rift Island. Veno, top tier EU competitor, known as one of the greatest fighters of all time. But if he's able to add yet another FNCS title to his name, his third title, could help him round out his kind of resume as a Fortnite competitor. Giras Chari now, 247 above the Storm Surge threshold. We've seen how dominant, how prevalent Storm Surge has been, especially in these grand finals with the amount of experience that's in this lobby. So seeing them already 200 above in this fourth zone, using that lock-on pistol, it's a great position to be in.
And their team, particularly in this zone, they do find a lot of damage. I think they're ranked 5th in Zone 4 when it comes to overall damage. The past couple games, Thomas with the crash. They didn't even hear it coming. Oh no, I cannot believe Thomas does it again. Queasy's just there watching that one go down. And Queasy has to just be smiling ear to ear. Yeah, that's my duo. He just did that. They had no idea.
Damn. Are you kidding me? Caught them with their pants down. They didn't even know where they were.
Whoa. My guy. What do you mean about that?
I mean,
what do you mean about that, dog?
Incredibly powerful way to start off.
What do you mean about that? Pants down.
That's just one of those moments where, like,
what do you mean?
That thing could probably happen. You know you could get launched.
Wingu?
Never expected in a million years.
Oh, damn head.
Pressure coming in. Pablo's gonna be stuck by himself, but he has the HP. Even a knock, a trade on the other side. So it's gonna come down to a 1v1.
Nice, okay,
he
finisher.
Back. He's trying to go ahead and get revenge for Bevies, who went down. He has a huge damage lead, and he's continuing to push himself further and further up that mountain. Finally gets the elimination to save the day, and they're really trying to reunite the momentum in which they started off the day yesterday. They even got a VR. If they can mix that up in here today, Takada, they'll be well on their way to the top of the leaderboard.
Look, all these brawls are ending incredibly fast today. I mean, there's a lot of staggered kind of engagements, but they haven't really ended in eliminations. The ones that have ended in eliminations it's been in an instant, literally, from Thomas jumping in the bush to now Pablo finishing it off quickly. Merstash Malabuka, on the other hand, no eliminations to their name yet, but with the position they're in, the loot, the materials, the consumables, they have everything to make something happen.
And all they need is a chance. I think Malabuka has taught us that by himself. Just need a chance to get back into the game. He can make wonders happen. Merstash might have the record with least amount of game time actually played with a Victory Royale in Malabuka's impressive run to qualify to the grand finals. It's not an accolade most people even have a chance to get, because Bevy's going to get a chance to get back into the game. Pablo got a second chance at life, and they're 200 above the damage threshold. So very, very little to worry about outside of rotating the zone.
Hvis jeg skal være ærlig, jeg liker den OG FNCS pickaxen bedre enn hva det nye. Jeg liker fortsatt den nye, men jeg vil helst ønske. Hvis du kan velge, bro, hvis det er godt, så er det veldig. Den er OG, den er gull.
Whether they need damage or not, as Pablo connecting those shots with the lock-on pistol and now making his way in. Bevies, though, being so low, you know it's gonna be a deciding factor if they're able to group back together.
Vidal, 77 above. Slowly bouncing around that storm surge threshold. Pretty consistent overall on day one. Gave themselves a nice little cushion up until that last game where they did go down just a little bit earlier than they'd hoped. And you can see even with storm surge kind of showing itself, they're not too worried about it. These guys have experienced almost everything when it comes to Fortnite and more. They know how to deal with the pressure. And they know that they don't need to make any risky plays to try to rotate. It does look like they're just trying together some extra small fry, any HP heals. And then they have the choice to grapple blade to the zone or maybe even find a rift that is left over from Loot Island.
That is one of the most important factors of this mid-game. It's making use of the natural mobility from Rift Island. If you're close by, duos basing up on the rifts that spawn on the ground surrounding it. Even the launch pads like Tayson and Veno are using on the Rift Island. But it also causes this kind of moment in the game where there's so many duos flying through the skies, and the ones down below already boxed up will take that opportunity to take shots and hopefully connect on some of the birds flying through the air.
It's literally almost half the lobby right now just using a rift, and everybody kind of knows at this stage that the zone does pull away from Rift Island, but those rifts just make it so worth it, especially if we have a forecast tower. Video down only needs 13,
bro, I
but look
can't
grab
see.
that much more.
Yeah,
It's
Astral.
gonna be his line of sights, but it's Vidil and Reason who go
No
down
way.
early in game 1 without any placement points.
Our number 1 duo going into the day, eliminated before the late game.
Damn.
318 points.
Nå kan Taste Veno catch up ennå til poeng.
The leaderboard is gonna change.
Ja. Jeg kan Nå kan jeg ta igjen. Kommer på førsteplass her nå.
Yeah, from this stage right now, they don't really have to do anything, make any risky plays except for go to zone, but you know as well as I do, these guys not only how to take opportunities, but they know how to create them as well. As they're just trying to eye every single person here on their rotation map.
Damage.
So that way they can figure out which way they do want to go to try to get that slow side of the zone. Most of the lobby is stacked up in the middle if they were just trying to beeline it to zone. So that right side, the eastern portion, especially when you go more towards the north, is going to be pretty open if you can sneak your way through.
Pablo with 3 elims already. Bevies with 1. Let's see how he picked up the other 2. Looks like it was Hen. Caught off guard from the back as pressure was being applied from the surrounding duos. Finishing off Ski as well there. And that's a huge refresh.
Bevy og
especially seeing that he was able to pick
Pablo
up Bevies.
tar enda en fight. Så de har
Hey, Bevies and Pablo, you give them a chance to play.
24 poeng for Aliens. Det er ganske bra.
Get things going.
Ganske bra.
I feel like the only weakness
Det var
is
fantastisk.
kind of biting off more than they can chew in certain
De mener 3
situations when
poeng,
it's
så
all
de har
contested
jo
fights.
Taysen
First place
og
is down. Huge opportunity for Veno, Tace, and everybody else on the leaderboard to
Good
move
fight there.
on up, especially with the 1.5 points. You get 100 for the victory out, 6 points for
Malibuka
elimination.
og shit.
Everything else in between is 25 teams still left alive. Finally, placement points are starting to get granted and will cascade with every team that drops.
26 above now for Mixing Ping. Pressure gets on as Merstash Malibuka. 160 above, but it's going to be Yanis and Flixie that go down. Merstash picking up that extra loot already with the mythic loot. Already with the
Ser de
medallions.
det var død? Eller det var noe? Og Cammy.
They are strong competitors for this first match
As-
in the second day of Grand Finals.
Yeah,
Or
they caught fire on the second half of the
Solary.
day yesterday. And
What
Malibuka,
was that?
even though he hasn't necessarily been on top of the mountain winning FNCS championships, for the past couple of years, he's been probably one of the most dominant individual players in the entire region, especially when it comes to average placement overall. Teamed up with Merstash not too long ago, but this is their chance to reunite and finally get that Axe of Champions.
Yeah, you talk about dominant players. I mean, his duo, Merstash, had the most individual
Oh,
eliminations in day 1 at 22. Wow. So that
I ain't like it.
combination is a lethal threat in this lobby.
Taysen og Vino, de er bare så
I'm looking
ganske
at lethal
bra.
threats. I see Beto Taysen right beside them. Rotates come through now. 8th zone does appear.
King?
A
Nei,
long
det var
rotation
ikke King.
for a lot of these players. As Storm Surge starts ticking, the pressure is on.
Yep. Taysen, they're feeling.
Liksom, det er King. Jeg får til Europa på grunn av at det var så lett. Folk sa at det var bare så lett for dem til å qualify, eller til å gjøre det bra i Brasil, så det er mindre for dem som må qualify og sånt. Men og så flyttet jeg Europa. Qualify til Grand Prix.
But even trading shots back and forth, Veno is not scared and he won't back down.
He needs to keep holding here. He has to keep expanding.
Oh,
Space if he
nei,
wants to pick
nei,
up
nei,
Taysen, but as the
nei,
pressure
nei,
gets too high, Bendo gets taken out. Meanwhile,
Dexy og Eclipse på height.
Of the lavish layer looking to hold on to height.
First and second
Okay,
place
okay.
are now down just at the beginning of placement points. Malibuka,
Three.
Merstash, this is your shot. Queasy, Thomas, those
Det
are
var
our
så-
third
det
and
var
fourth
de
place
s-
teams as
det var
Pablo
sjansen
still
deres.
doing work here against
Han skulle egentlig
Dixie
bare
and
backe off,
Wox.
egentlig.
Gets the knock onto one. Actually, a little bit of help from the other side, but he's going to want that gets all the spoils, all the loot for himself.
Little assists from his opponents, but the presents are his as he begins his rotate now. Grapple blade in hand, 58 builds to work with. Does have medkits as well in case he has to stay in the zone to adjust his rotation.
Pablo.
Queasy continuing as Queasy and Thomas now begin their rotate.
Yeah. Barely above that damage threshold. They know it's
oh,
not too much of a worry with the strategies they have. Go to the front side. Those would be the opportunities to look back. I think Queasy and Thomas are doing a good job of finding those open holes here through this end game.
kan jo de kanske få som kommer points on the mesh.
Thomas still moving forward in the zone as well.
We know how much Queasy loves
Eclipse
or has
Dexy
loved
på
playing high
height.
ground in the past, which is why I love seeing this duo play closer to second height. But there's so much elevation between second and ultimate high ground currently that they have to find
Just
that right opportunity to strike, to chop them down
Så de må
and go for it. Meanwhile, down in the dirt, Merstash Malabuka, 3 medkits, looking like they could potentially have that win condition.
Og Thomas HD og Queasy går for height. Nei.
Go to the front side of zone as
Okay,
Thomas,
grappler på
Queasy,
height.
they're just trying to go
Okay.
and stay off of that bottom layer. No high ground take just yet. They aren't healthy enough to make that a possibility. Merstash finds elimination on Decade. Pablo getting stuck backside of the zone. Impressive run as a solo to
de har
Tata. They
5
started the game in
millions.
5th place, and this is a way to keep your position on the leaderboard intact.
Ganske, de jo på første nå da.
Pablo is clutching so many points. 2 medkits in hand as he's gonna play the heal off here. Meanwhile, he plans. What's the
Spiller
rotation?
litt Storm.
Where's the impact? Where's the
Okay,
refresh that I can get here as he starts walking closer and closer? There's Queasy close by.
Jeg står og så healer litt etter dem
That's not your
da.
duo partner, Pablo. That's an enemy.
Wave high to each other before he disengages. Only has a few builds to work with. Trying to be very, very picky when he uses them, but those are going to be 2 rightfully placed. Able to go in and outside of the box before he tries to make his way back in. Can't take too much damage through the zone. Out of builds.
Nice,
Vortex is
nice,
in line
nice
of
medkit.
sight. This is his chance to get a refresh, and he picks it up with ease.
Ja, han fikk ikke medkittet da.
Is he going to be able to pick them back up?
Queasy.
Inside the zone. Is he going to look for some sort of flank? I'm not
Oh,
sure.
kanskje han går for
Still
height.
up. No, he's gone down. Queasy now left as a solo,
Nei.
securing as
Okay,
many places
Thomas.
as possible.
Yep, last of the med
Down.
kits. Now he has to make his way inward, and he does so with the quickness, trying to get to the front side, so that way he
Nice.
can look back, try to defend himself. give
Pablo,
himself options.
han kan være i
Kiro's gonna
stødmen.
pick up a couple
2
eliminations,
sekunder.
but Pablo, the solo mastermind, still holding on strong. 6 eliminations
Nice.
as a team with the lion's
Nei,
share
han fikk
going
ikke
down.
kille.
A nice shot and a nice
Nei.
elimination for Pablo.
Ja, det var
As he gets
Malabuka.
Merstash down.
Nei, de har sagt 20 lims.
It's Merstash. That's up to 6 as Pablo hunts for more.
Nice!
Right
Woo!
now, Pablo's unstoppable with another onto Queasy.
That's 2 big teams, 2 Titans at the top of the leaderboard down, and this is his chance to overtake the first place. Another knock there on to Kiro, and he's bringing it back.
No!
Looking for an ace.
Oh
It
my
finally comes
days.
to an end, but he's done more than enough work to
Ja.
boost up the leaderboard.
Sanguild, Marius down below. It's a 2 versus 2 against the duo up height. Dexy, Eclipse, they've been holding on since the
Det var jo holdt seg på height.
All they need to do is close it out.
Yeah, they're running out of builds. Everything's gonna go
Men
crashing
de
down,
choker
but
bare.
Eclipse gets dropped. Dexy trying to fight back, but the numbers
Nå ja,
game is just
det er
too
det som er
much.
med FNCS.
Marius is able to stand up tall, take it
Nice.
down, and take the game.
Unable to finish it off, finishing in second, but Sanguild,
My
Marius
days.
securing the win, securing that victory royale. What an electric way to start game 1 of the Day 2 EU FNCS finals.
Yep, and throughout the course of that game, we saw first place go down, second place go down, 4th place go down, and then even 3rd eventually. And even though Pablo didn't win the game, he was in 5th place. I can only imagine what the leaderboards look like, but Marius
Nice.
and
Ja, de
Sanguild
fikk
from
mystiske
the
ut.
low ground, they chop them down like a great oak tree in the
Nice.
forest. And they put in work to take the game. I can only imagine where they're positioned on the leaderboard now that it's 1.5 times points.
Look, I've got a smile on my face, Jacob. I
Cut on
love to
Jacob.
see these AIM games end in action. We haven't been seeing any heal-offs basically in the grand finals. It's been pure chaos,
Yeah.
pure annihilation in the late game. But with the new format change for day 2, there's going to be so many changes on the leaderboards, and there's only 3 people that can update us on that. So, Frankie, what you got?
I feel pressure now, being one of the 3, but I'll try my best to uphold the reputation of the analyst desk with these 2 boys, Levin and Mini Miner. I love that high ground, low ground battle. And you know what? Low ground took it, Levin, and that's one of the first times this weekend I feel we've seen that.
Look, we are going to be talking all about Danish Fortnite players right now because the Danes were popping off in that lobby. A big dub for them. And of course, the dub for Marius and Sandguild. Of course, very talented players. Players who I think, if you are, familiar with EU Fortnite, you'll recognize their names. Especially when it comes to Marius, right? He's someone who a lot of players talk about, you don't want to fight this guy in creative. He's absolutely cracked. And they haven't had that FNCS performance that's made you go, wow, these guys are here. A big, big win. And like Frankie said, right? Doing it from a position that not many teams have managed to do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Players that are up and comers.
Damn, that was 82 poäng.
One of those players are on top of your list, and he hasn't quite done it in enough.
För 82, det är 112 poäng. Dasken det.
You could say out there on the map. So it's great to see him actually performing right here. It was a nice favorable zone for them, close to their drop spot, but it's not easy to play that low ground, particularly when the zone does pull back like that. You're going through all those old builds, you're going through all that mess that other players are trying to do. So nice job from that team, and you can see a little bit of potential there for the day, because of course it's 1.5x points, so that could jump them up the leaderboard.
Also, just because the zone was in their favor doesn't mean it was easy, because Janice and Flixie, when the zone was in their favor not once but twice yesterday, they did not take the victory royale. So maybe sometimes it's harder than it looks, not that you tell from that victory royale from Marius and Sandguild. I can't wait to see the leaderboard for this one when it's ready, because interestingly, our #1 team going into game number 7 went out quite early. They got 2 eliminations, no placement points. I'm scanning it now, trying to see Vidil and Reason, and they are in number 6. They have dropped 5 places.
Dasken, den får ju... Nej. Men Malibu kom upp.
Well, I mean, they were rolling the dice quite a lot yesterday when it came to being uber aggressive, and it was paying off, right? You rolled the dice a couple times, you're going to roll not in your favor, and so I think that was a situation last game where that happened. To be honest, I'm just impressed by Pablo Ingo and Bevies from that game. Pablo's clutch, oh my goodness, man. That guy was going crazy. Every time I thought, okay, he's done now, right? Surely he's done now. He just kept hitting more shots. I mean, again, Danish Fortnite taking dubs. This guy was going crazy. I think Takata called him the headshot hunter or something like the head hunter. He was, oh my, it was mad.
Yeah, there was just so many bold plays at this point, which is exactly what you need to do when you're a solo in this particular point. And we know exactly what Pablo and Bevies do. And it seems like the narrative that we just keep talking about, it's just that they're inconsistent. But you can see, if they're able to do this more often than not today, this could be our FNCS champions. We could be looking at a potential FNCS champion after a season to forget almost for this duo when it comes to off-spawn contestation, early storm surge problems. But it seems like it's all coming together now, right at the perfect moment.
Dare I say it, boys, but the way that Pablo is running through those layers, it really reminded me of Veno, and the way that Veno likes to play those endgame clutch situations when he's on his own. He is literally take no prisoners, just take all the names you can get, Levin.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll give Pablo his props. He's someone who has shown he can pop off in the past, right? I think it's funny, Minnie, because, if Pablo and Bevy stay here and they win the FNCS, they'd be the first Danish players to ever win it. And I mean, it would be, Thomas HD, I think, would probably be crying inside if that happened. But I do want to talk about Thomas, because we saw a really interesting play, and it's something that we've seen a lot from teams this season. And they've been calling it crash pad bombing. Because what you do, right, is you line up a team, a team somewhere, and you set up the crash pad so you land perfectly on them, and you do this. And I mean, I was freaking out when this was happening. Minnie and Frankie were both freaking out. And I mean, how could you not? It's really interesting. A lot of players are doing this because if you're the players on the receiving end of that, you actually don't hear that team coming. Like, you literally don't see it or hear it coming at all. And so it's like a really crazy surprise play. We've not seen much of it on screen, but I'm glad we got to see it once, because a couple teams have been playing around with it. Obviously, Thomas combining it with the Flowberry fence, which was nice to give him a bit extra distance. But yeah, Queasy and Thomas still are going to be a threat today for sure.
Yeah, and it's exactly the type of player that you want on the other end of that Flowberry crash pad, right? You want it to be Thomas HD getting into that bush, not only seeing the team in there, also hitting a max damage, 173, whatever that was, then connecting with the assault rifle shots, hitting double headshots on the next player. That was absolutely spectacular, and we talked about how good Thomas HD is and has been this season in that duo. So although that game wasn't necessarily the best for them, even though it was a nice zone for them, I'm expecting big things from this duo, because when you got someone on your team that can pull that out of the hat, anything can happen.
The more Danish players, the better. I do want to propose something though, boys. Can we call that move the baby bouncer? Because they're on the junior crash pad.
No, we're not.
So like, you grab your baby bouncer
Nej.
You bounce.
Nej. Nej.
Should we just call it the Flowberry crash pad?
Or the baby boomer, you jump on the baby crash pad and then you
can do it without the Flowberry. People do it without the Flowberry as well. You can just do it with the crash pad. If you line it up and you sprint jump, it's like 190 meters. It still works. So, yeah.
Do we need a name for it? Can it just be crash pad onto someone's head, into max damage pump, into elimination?
Baby boomer.
If you want to say that every time, Minnie, feel free to say that every time.
You jump on the baby and then you
Du hopper på här.
into their faces. Just like we're boom shakalaka into ring.
Boom
Game number 8. Take it away, Jacob and Takata, please.
Look, that was a whole lot of yapping, Jacob. But what I'm interested in is game 2 of the EU FNCS Grand Finals. Explosive start to the day. Pablo, I mean, Headhunter, what did we witness in that late game?
We witnessed somebody steal the show. Ended up in a 3rd place from 5th to 1st after that huge solo clutch. If any time is to look back at a moment and say that is why he won FNCS, that's a big if. Don't want to curse him too early. That is the moment right there. Will we have more clutches with the next game ready? We'll see.
You said it, Jacob. Pablo Bevy's 1st place on the leaderboard now. Merstash Malabuka in 2nd. Queasy Thomas HD in 3rd. As now instantly right back into the action.
Okay.
I feel like every single game today we might have a different 1st place team. I feel like that's the trend. The 1.5 points with how well everyone's playing. It's not just one team playing well. Everyone is playing lights out in this competition. So you got to think fights like this, no matter how well you did in that last game, for Queasy Thomas, never going to come easy. And we're even seeing the ballistic shield coming out from Thomas. Doesn't have any close range, so it could be the play for him.
Där dottern en shotgun
down off spawn.
Ja,
needs to get ballistic here, but he's unable to. Eliminated off spawn, off the drop. From 3rd place on the leaderboard to now 0 points in game 2. Lemon was talking about it, Minnie. Could Pablo Bevies be the first? One of the first, I mean, Danish players to secure an FNCS title before Thomas HD with his history of the most top 10s, 7 top 3s yet to get that FNCS.
Sky.
That would be a script and a half.
Scroll.
Definitely would kind of be a huge treat, just like this. Opportunity here to see.
Ja men jo, what the fuck? De är ju. Jo, de hade ju koll på
6 out of 6 games throughout the day yesterday, and Savage taking the fight to them, breaking through the door even to go ahead and give Monroe a nice opportunity to play this game out.
Jag skjønte Broka, bobblen. De hadde jo koll på selvfølgelig, bro. Skjønte det. Jeg bare synes det ville vært at de ikke var inn. De måtte døve opp spawn, da.
Tini and Misha, sorry. It looks like they're gonna right off the bat eliminate Skydune. Quick 6 points in his duo. Shakoth now on the run.
Yeah, and I would say typically Tini and Misha have been trying to chase it down, but I don't see crash pads, I don't see grapple blades. Even with a Flowberry Fizz is in his inventory, you kind of don't want to waste those when you can't really close the distance. So great awareness of the situation for Tini and Misha to just disengage, continue looting up, grab the resources, let those eliminations come to you later on. You don't want to risk it for just those 6 points, Takata. There's 100 points up for grabs for placement alone. You needed that. You needed about 10 elims with a win yesterday just to score 100 points. Now it's just that much easier.
It really is. And for Ping and Mixon, we're up on the snowy hill now. They do have that launch pad that they can use to maximize efficiency on their loot path. But it's all about preparation. As look at that. His duo partner now jumped on. Instant need for assistance. Ping manages to get the knock. It's on Nathan. CZZ sniped as well. The 2v1 continues.
Yeah, Mixon Pings, they were at the top of the leaderboard for most of the day yesterday as well. And you can see why these great scenarios that they're putting themselves in, especially with that sniper in the hands of Mixon. And we've seen it. We talked about Thomas. We talked about Veno. There's a lot of good snipers going under the radar this season, and this is a great opportunity to highlight those snipers.
I mean, they're devastating. You can think of players, Veno, Thomas HD, King, any of these players with a sniper in hand turns them into the Reaper. One shot is all it takes to turn the, not just tables around, it could turn your whole game around.
Vico and Pink.
As Vico, Pink, Kiro, Kidduo, once again, the battle continues.
They're at least able to get one, kind of toss it back in their favor. And even though they're battling it out yesterday, it was back and forth, back and forth. Nobody really able to find their stride between the two teams. Third parties interrupting it at one point or another. It's Pink and Vico on the hunt. Kiro's gonna get spotted out. Shield's gonna get dropped. Pink almost getting dropped himself with a trade, but Kiro's finally gonna go down, which gives it all over to Pink and Vico, and possibly the forecast tower as well as they make their way over.
Look, that's 1-1 for day 2. Kiro Kidduo took the battle in the last match, but the question is, the players in the surrounding areas, they're looking at the feed, they know this engagement's going on, and they might use that information to try and take the forecast tower from them. So hopefully Pink and Vico will be able to claim that, as they did come out on top in the fight, but we'll take a look at another one going on here. Cringe and Noms kind of scouting out what's going on down here by the reboot van. It's Arya and Low-Keyed, Robin Madax. But so far, they're just kind of, you know, chilling in their own boxes. Nothing happening yet. Both crouched. Maybe they're trying to, like, fake them out, pretend they've already left, but it's going to be a long time before anything happens there. Reason for deal, though. Not a great game 1. Not a great start to day 2. And if Reason gets knocked down here, it could be devastating.
Huge flank third party by Andalex and Sato. And immediately, look at the minimap. They got their surge. Trying to disengaging. Mox, Lazen are there as well. Everybody just trying to rotate on out, maybe even follow the train towards the zone. We haven't necessarily seen it on stream, but throughout the day yesterday, there have been teams using that train to rotate in as deep to the center of the zone as possible. And we're really seeing things and a lot of the tricks come out. As Yanis Flixie going against Pink and Vico, they saw the fight in the feed and they're ready to end it in favor of themselves. Vico dropped down to just a sliver of HP, and the persistence is there from Flixie. He even has the card. He's just trying to make his way in to capture it. But I think Pink and Vico are doing a good job of defending the terminal.
This is exactly what we talked about. Yanis and Flixie capitalizing on knowing that Pink and Vico just came out of an engagement, are most likely not that healthy. It might not even be around the forecast tower, which is why they were able to get that card.
Oh my
days. The thing is, they're not the only duo that's interested. You saw Tayson as well. Veno kind of saying, do we join this party? We weren't invited, but we might be able to sneak in, as Yanis and Flixie quickly see the danger and decide, we've already got the tower. It's been secured. We don't need those eliminations. We don't need to risk anything else.
That's just literally quick thinking by Yanis and Flixie to be able to see that in the feed and then rotate straight on over to take control before Pink and Vico can actually get back on over there from their contested fight.
460 poeng. Andreplass 420. 4 poeng. Det er stappfullt, jo. Oh my
Flixie even getting his first VR in a finals lobby. They're just upward trajectory from there. They just need to have that solid performance here today to really cap it all off. And for Yanis, that'll be another FNCS champion. For Flixie, it's finally being able to put some respect on his name.
Veno now looking to see what has gone wrong in this forecast battle.
He
can maybe find
Vi har ikke sett ham på lang.
bit more
Adam i live.
information. He does have 32 shots.
I live. Så vidt. Hvis jeg vet ikke noe. Ok, skal vi se her da. Skal vi se her. Vi har 88 poeng. Man går i livet.
One's on my wall. He's on my buddy. They're both on my buddy. There's that wall there.
Yikes! Skummelt. Say. And Fortnite over til
Gate for now.
Savage nå.
Nobody's hot on the chase.
Selvfølgelig ikke.
You just need to try and get the card eventually. You can sit here for some time though. Remember you're in wood, by the way.
Yeah, I've only got wood left. Then it's gonna replace around it.
Come on, Mongrel. Come on.
Did you hit the guy that killed you at all, or nah?
No, I blanked him.
Damn.
Fuck, I am 100.
Damn. Pidderbot topp 4. Clicks og Epic Whale, topp 7. Okay.
They rotate here.
You
And
need to try and beam them when they run, by the way.
Yeah.
My surge is gonna get removed when you reboot.
Men seriøst. P-searchen fjern.
You can't really look at any other team than this.
Ja, det er jo dumt da.
Where am I rebooting though?
Let me see. You're gonna crash bed? Huh? Wanna tie them out there maybe? Look at the team tie them. You can get the card now.
Wait,
Oh, they're going on it.
that's true.
Sikkert.
Stop. Whether it's the off-spawn
I
engagement
drove.
from
Hey,
Hero
I
and
drove.
Kudo
I
to the
drove.
third parties
Bro.
that come in after,
Nebs I drove.
trying to take their forecast tower. I mean, they've been having some really difficult early to mid games.
I drove.
And we know
Okay,
the
I didn't
potential
know.
they have in those
Ja,
late
det så
games.
du det.
I drop a Nebs though
Nei, de må runde litt med delay.
as they look for those angles.
Fordi det vistes... Eller nei, det var noen... Nei, de overlevde. Nei. Han døva. Mongol døva. Nei, vent, jeg er ikke 9. Jo, han er 9. Han overlevde. Ja...
I dropped just yet.
Ventetiden er over.
Hvorfor skjer det?
Deilige bacon
Chatten
cheddar
til Mr.
lover er
Savage, jo.
endelig tilbake.
Formats.
Der.
With Noah just
Ventetiden er
Bro.
over. Forførende deilige bacon cheddar lover er endelig tilbake.
Forbanna det.
Perfekt.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, was that? I think that was Malibuco.
What are they doing? They were just sitting next to us.
rotate their way in, so
Starten på året.
Men hallo!
Derfor har vi i Rema 1000 fryst prisen på over 1000 varer.
Bullets in the chamber. All it takes is one. Can Awkward connect that headshot that they might so desperately need, with Noah already being incredibly low on shield. Not much to recuperate. Walks Pixie, connecting one. These snipes can be incredibly beneficial in terms of getting that damage you need for the Storm Surge threshold. If you have that ammunition to spare, the extra sniper bullets to help you take more of those shots, it could be the game-changing factor of getting enough damage.
yeah, huge blessing. That
Oh,
hard
hey.
kind of go back to that cast that was literally just
Det
two
viser
boxes
box.
behind. So nice damage in terms of the sniper, but not really going to be able to notice it on the next rotation. Now that he's going to get all shielded up. Vidal Reason in a tough spot not too long ago. Finally able to kind of bounce back. Now they set their eyes on the Seti and Cammy. But they know at least one of these players is weak and they're attacking from two different angles. Vidal just trying to go straight in from the low ground. Reason working his way from the top to bottom. Finally they
Another one.
reunite and they're able
Chase
to
it, the
get
Vidal.
one. Cammy
What
gets
the-
dropped down, leaving Seti by himself. The struggles for our global invitational champions continue.
Seti put into panic now as he's forced into the 1 versus 2. But it looks like Reason isn't done yet. It's Mongrel close by that wants to escape, but he's been cracked now. Just gonna take 2 more shots, 2 big ones from that frenzy to finish it off, as now nowhere to run,
Right.
nowhere to escape. And that's another Elim on the board.
Oh.
For Vidal and Reason.
Yeah, 6 more points. Starting to pick up the pace. Game
Damn.
7 of the overall tournament, which was game 1 on the day. a little bit of a misstep, and sometimes, especially with 1.5 points, that one misstep is all it takes to cost you that first place spot. So they're really gonna have to dig deep and make up for it. Marius Sandguild, top of Loot Island, along with one other team, but you can see they're trying to just loot up, scrap together as much as they can. It's actually Phaser and King who are gonna get credit for capturing the Rift Island. No points, but they're gonna be the ones to scavenge all that loot that they just were able to get.
Didn't have the best start to day one. But if I know anything about King, he can turn things around, especially with the sniper in hand. For Pablo, though, has been unable to pick up bevies yet. He is still looking healthy, but the clock's ticking. 30 seconds until this fourth zone closes and fifth appears. And with two duos in a battle in front of him, he might find an opportunity to take that snipe, get that headshot, but he's unable to connect the first bullet.
Hey, persistence is key. He does have the 3 medkits as well, but this is vital information because there's only X amount of teams still left in this lobby, 36 overall, him being one of them. And with the rotations coming out, if he was able to get the reboot card, he could outlast the zone, get bevies back in, because I predicted bevies to be back. I thought he'd be back by now, but Pablo just leaving us in suspense a little bit longer, trying to go for a couple more snipes, but crash padding as Darky and Darkest to make their way on out. And finally, Pablo sets his eyes on that reboot.
So this time, brings his duo back in. It's difficult though, Jacob. Grand Finals, lobby, 400 metal to work with, barely any wood or brick, and now having to rotate in, having to loot up his duo partner. I believe he did have 3 medkits and 3 big pots, so they have a decent amount of consumables, but they will be used to get bevies back into the game. They're going to need a refresh early on, but anything's possible as we look right back at Fadil and Reason.
Traveling on the congested side of zone. Swizzy, Putrix, the ones directly in their line of sight. But you can see in the minimap, so many teams littered around this same rotation, trying to find their way in. In a couple of seconds, zone's going to force them in anyway. As Swizzy and Putrix still trying to get the last of the shots before they make their rotation on out. And it's not too far of a rotation for a lot of these teams. But when you're rotating parallel with a lot of them, that's where it gets disastrous. As Pablo, Bevies finally up. They have the high ground, but they're down on Surge. But with everybody rotating, this is a great chance for them to pick up some shots here.
One shot, Jacob. One shot is all it takes. And there it is, 116 from Pablo. This should be enough to bring him above, 62 above now. It's not going to be enough for the rest of the match, but it's going to be enough to hold on here just a bit longer. Only a shotgun and sniper in hand, as I assume Bevies has taken the AR. Medkits being split up, ammunition being split up as they continue now to hunt for another shot.
They're doing just enough to stay ahead of the curve. 62 above, but Veno, Tayson under pressure. Noah, Aqua going to be the ones on the other side. Out of zone, no HP. Veno gets dropped again. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Tayson. Medkit getting canceled. Noah goes in, but he gets sent right back on out, leaving Aqua by himself. But Tayson is running out of time. This is a 2-tick. Now or never for the Medkit. With 1 HP left, he finally gets it off to try to keep himself alive. But Aqua is still knocking on the door on the other side. He finally is disengaged. I think they realize this is almost a no-win scenario for both of these teams if they don't get out. And he actually goes down. The medallion gets dropped. Aqua, Noah are out.
With a sliver of HP, literally 1 for Tayson. He gets the medkit off in time, and with that, out heals Aqua to finish him off. But now with Veno being eliminated, Tayson being outside of the zone, he has a launch pad he can use to get back in. Not even sure if he has time to loot up Aqua. Let's see what happened to Bevies and Pablo, though.
All right, so Pablo's already down. Just a much-needed elimination. You said it as well, kind of when it was happening, even though Bevies is back, they're going to need a refresh. Look at his loot. If he doesn't have ammo, he doesn't have materials, using all of his heals. Pablo, lucky enough, before going down, was able to kind of gather up enough shot surge. But now he has to return the favor and have a big solo clutch opportunity. Unless he pulls a Malabuka and tries for the reboot a second time.
I was gonna say, we saw it happen in the semifinals. And I believe it was actually in the late game, Merstash picked up Malabuka and they almost traded themselves, leaving him as a solo to finish it. Until he picked him back up again. But that's going to be difficult here for Bevies. He is 231 above, though. No minis. 11 wood. 1 build. This is really something where you need a miracle, a blessing to come out of.
Yeah, he's just trying to rotate, get next to a team, but not too close to where they're going to push him. He needs to make himself kind of look like a duo, because if they spot him out as a solo, they're going to go. Cade, Diox fighting towards the backside of the zone, getting switched further and further back, but they're actually going to get granted the zone as the next one Buzz pull over in their direction. Nice opportunity for Bevies to hit a shot, but he's just in shambles, getting ping-ponged around the lobby, not really able to decide what he wants to do at almost any given moment.
Han är 14 HP. Jesus.
All metal. If that duo that took shots pursues him, it could be the end of Bevies. Tayson, though, 30 below. No duo partner to help him with damage. It's all up to him.
Oh.
One of the Fortnite goats. Is he able to do it? Surge just gets the better of him. It's now Bevies. 197 above, 14 HP, 2 builds, and a dream.
14 HP. Hey, all you need to do is at least have 1 HP. Be able to stay alive. Common sense. He's just outside the edge of zone as well, but he can immediately go back in. You see a lot of the builds that are going to be recyclable for a situation like this. It's all about what happens after, because you see him down low, kind of in a trench between two of the biggest mountains in the zone right now. If it pulls to either one, that's what I'm going to continue to get a little scared for Bevies. But one team needs to go down, and he'll at least start to collect those placement points.
Malabuka looking to see if he can connect the shot here.
Pixie
hits 2, hits 3. 1 more needed to get the knock on Pixie, but it helps with the damage. Now, 27 above, 94 with the hits. Can they hold on, though?
Damn, dude.
19 seconds left until this zone closes.
Malabuka, Mustache, they don't really have to do much. They're not the highest elevation, but they do have the natural mountain behind them. So lessens the chance of somebody being able to break into the box, but Mixin pings a whole different side of that Storm Surge threshold. Not going to be a ton, but 34 below. Not very many opportunities there as we look at an opportunity here. Bevies. Oh my gosh! The Reaper Sniper, no scope, not no quick scope at close range. Talk about getting back into the game. Bevies has finally done it.
Yeah.
And with the massive solo clutch the game prior by Pablo, this is his chance to return the favor. And now Pablo won't be able to hold it over his head if they win.
Bevies inventing new words with that headshot snipe. 3 now on the board. Will this be history once again? A solo clutch. He has the damage from that headshot. He has the loot, and now back up 120 builds. More than enough materials to clutch it out. Only thing you could even ask for is a bit of shields. But there is potential to make something happen.
And this is perfect situation in terms of zone. It's a far pull for everybody in the lobby. So there's not going to be great and too many opportunities for people to just sit back, camp, wait for zone, and try to target out a solo like Bevies. He just needs another one of these far pulls. He'll be A-okay as the rest of the lobby finally makes their way in. Placement points being gathered with every team that goes down. Oh, but Bevies goes down himself. That's Vico who went in. But Pink got lost along the way. So another solo opportunity in the form of Pinko coming up soon.
Let's see how it happened. Bevies even built 4 boxes. It seemed to be the safer play, but with his roof, his cone replaced, he did go down. Ping Mixin, though. 4 elims on the board. Just like that, an extra 24 points going into this end game. 3 medkits to work with, 3 bigs. They're already ahead of zone as well. They can't even recuperate what they've used here. Question is, what do they want? Do they want to elevate themselves more? What layer are they playing for? So far, I'm trying to see as well who might be peaking for that high ground. It is 9th zone. It's the first moving, and it commences.
Yeah, what they're doing, you can see it. Peeking through the cone, gathering information, but give them flexibility and options. Do I stagger myself?
Oh,
no. Depending on what they see here, it's going to give them that answer as Mustache bumbling a little bit, trying to make it on over to Malabuka as players cut off his path with the grapple blade, but no harm, no foul, able to reunite into the same box. Voco and Vortexers having to do the same thing, but 21 below the damage threshold. The quick fadeaway shot coming out from Voco is going to get him above, but he takes a shot himself, trying to reunite with Vortexers, so that way they can try to heal up as best as he can.
Big pot Getting put to good use. Vortex's Volko looking to continue strong. It's going to be Reason. Vadil trying to make a comeback from that game one. They have the high ground. Can they hold on?
Question we're going to be asking ourselves, 364 above, but almost every game so far, no matter if it was early in the 9th zone, late in the 11th zone, somebody usually tries to threaten to take over that high ground, claim it for themselves. Mixin 195, plenty of builds to work with, but he is going to be a solo. Spot somebody right in front, quick reaction to turn around, and once again, grapple blade to the front side of the zone, being able to recycle some of these builds and save it for when he needs it most.
Mixin has to clutch it up. He has that Mythic Frenzy. He has a good amount of builds, even ahead of zone. With those 3 medkits, the potential to play back and slow when he runs out of materials. Merstash Malabuka, though, showing their dominance with 3 elims. Issue is, they could use a bit more materials, but they're more than healthy for the rest of this zone.
Yeah, but this consistency is absolutely insane for Malabuka and Merstash. They're slowly but surely moving up the leaderboard, which is hard to say because they're already at the top of it. Started in 3rd place on the day, slowly but surely taking over other spots. Vortexer's lost Volko. You saw his shields get dropped not too long ago, so now Vortexer's left by himself, trying to grapple blade once more to the front side of the zone. Ends up almost getting boxed up, but it doesn't matter. Marius and Sangil, 2 shots are better than one to take him down.
Wanting to get the back-to-back VR as Vadil Reason still up strong above. Marius Sangil now trying to build up as this zone does pull towards a ridge. They cannot get trapped here. They need to elevate themselves as quickly as possible, but as all duos have the same plan in mind, they get trapped together on the journey of the hill. As his duo partner Sangil goes down, so does Marius.
Yeah, he tries to backtrack in his zone. That was 2 different teams that took part in eliminating that one. Shari, Gearus trying to go ahead and get a flank on Andalex and Sado. So far, it's working to fruition, but they immediately drop down low. Find a shot on a Nev, but I think iDrop was able to scoop him up before the elimination actually went through, saving the loot for himself, but another traded shot going off. Hari is doing his best to go ahead and dominate the lobby, but he finds a medkit towards the backside. He's going to allow himself to stagger backside his zone.
Malabuka who got eliminated as now the zone pulling under the train
tracks,
as he builds close to one of the pillars, but with just 10 HP, he's forced to pop a medkit.
Yeah, a lot of these medkits coming out a little bit earlier than some would hope, and a trend for FNCS continues. Not too many heal off as Hari's just trying to get some extra points, but he gets shut down from the high ground. Andalex, Sado look towards the back. They find out Art Skill. Another couple eliminations going to be grabbed, and they position themselves in the top 3.
5 players up, 3 duos. We still have
Vidal.
Cade is going to be the solo. Goes down to zone. The 2v2 height versus low as Reason drops in. Cracks one, unable to get the knock. Vidal now forced as a solo.
He still has the medkits. He gets it canceled though by a threat to try to jump up. Second one going on. Also going to be canceled. He drops down onto Andalex. Sado was already down. Vadil has woken up from his slumber after day 1 to awaken here in game 2 on the day to take it all.
Back in business from a rough game 1 after dominating day 1, finishing in 1st place. They are back on their throne.
And that's what happens. Topsy-turvy for those points. 1.5 times points compared to yesterday. And I said it, we are going to see that leaderboard change hands almost every single game today. And with a valiant effort from Bebbies and his solo clutch, he went down far too early to where points like this, a win like this, 6 eliminations, 100 points from placement alone, Takada, they have to be sitting pretty in 1st.
1 year ago, Reason, Chapter 4, Major 1, 1st place, day 1, but dropped down to 3rd place, day 2. They said, we're not doing it again. Reason wants to change history. Can they do it though? Is the question. Answer that. Frankie, Levin Mini, what you got?
Well, there's 2 people that can help you with that, and I am just gonna help them talk through the situation that we just witnessed. Because as the boys just correctly said, Vadil and Reason didn't have the best game 1. But what an impressive display from this duo, establishing that high ground dominance again. We've had low, we've had high. I wonder where we're going to go next, Levin.
I mean, if Vadil and Reason have anything to do with it, it's going to be a show. It's going to be entertaining because that is what these guys do. They entertain. Like the caster said, they were asleep still, you know. They actually, you know, it wasn't actually them playing, you know, or somebody else just, you know, they weren't really there. But now they are here, reminding us exactly what they're capable of. Mini, that is the kind of momentum. That is probably the best game they have had so far, right? You know, you looked at the first 6 games they had yesterday, and it was like a weird one. Like I think you mentioned it earlier, right? Where you looked at the list of games they had and thought, I can't believe they're actually in first place of these games, you know? Like, there's nothing that's jumping out to you, but now a statement win here.
Yeah, Vadil said it himself. He was like, hang on a sec, how are we actually in first here? And I think now it just shows that they are actually deserved to be in that position. They haven't fluked it on day one. I think this is a nice zone for them because it ended up in the similar sort of area to what we saw in the previous game. So it was like they had that practice of that rotation. They knew what they did wrong in that first game and could actually adjust their strategy. What I did like, though, we haven't really seen Vadil and Reason on height this season. I haven't seen them performing this well in this level lobby on height. So it's nice to see them going for that, particularly in this sort of format as well, when you're gonna get those 1.5x points. A massive win like this is going to be huge for this team because it just keeps them afloat, keeps them on top of that leaderboard, and allows them to continue taking those risks. I was worried that if they did fall down the leaderboard a little bit, they might end up just almost going back into their shell, not taking as many risks, but this is great for this team.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm a bit of a nostalgia merchant. I remember back in the trio days, Reason, Vadil, and Noah Riley, when that was a trio, they used to love high ground, right? They used to be up there and they used to show out. And so it's good to see these guys going back to almost their roots, you would say, you know, playing for height there. Really, really fun game from them.
I feel like it's quite an intelligent decision as well to go, you know what, we don't normally go height, but there is a river adjacent zone. So let's just build up and then we're absolutely ready for anything. And I, for one, am ready to see the leaderboard because I have a feeling that Vadil and Reason would have scooted back up to that #1 spot where we found them at the end of day one. And there you can see it. Huge placement points for these boys, 460. Malabuka and Mustache.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it looks like a lot of points difference, but actually, Mini and Minor, there's still so much to play for, especially with that 1.5x multiplier.
Yeah, 100%, but really impressive stuff from this team, staying consistent. We saw them have 2 massive games yesterday. They had an average game there as well, but it was one of those from me where it was like, are they going to be able to do that tomorrow? Are they going to be able to do that when the points are multiplied? Are they going to be able to do it consistently? And so far, with a 7th there and an 8th in that last game, 5 eliminations and 4 eliminations in both of those games, really nice from this duo. They haven't quite had that massive game yet, the one that we know this duo for from all the way back when, sort of chapter 3 days, just fragging out, going absolutely crazy. But this could be their time to win Malabuka, of course, his first FNCS title. Of course, Mustache won it last year in this very same major, Chapter 4 Major 1. So he has the experience. And Mustache was playing so well yesterday. It looks like they continue that today.
Absolutely, man. I look at, you know, when you look at the list of great players who have never won an FNCS, for me, I think Thomas HD probably is #1 on that list, but if it wasn't Thomas, it would be Malabuka, right? It's 1A, 1B in that regard. And so, look, I think we're going to see some history today, right? If it's these two, if it's first place and second place that continue this race for first, then one of those teams is going to have a new champion, right? Reason as well, a legendary player who has never won an FNCS yet, and he's come close many times. So, look, both of these teams will be pushing in these last couple of games to really make it happen. I mean, Mustache's done it before, and so you'd like to hope that experience will tend well and lead in their favor. Same could be said for Vadil.
Vi har alltid nye FNCS-game. De har 88 på... de gjør det faen ikke bra.
I think...
I'm going to the chest. I'm going to the chest.
Okay, I'm going on here.
There's an AR here, be careful. I got a sniper on the fucking chest.
Okay.
Right, dead.
Come here. No, nice. Oh. Drop one now.
Bro, det one shotgun. Go for... Oh! Savage! Savage, 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 savage. Savage.
No, bro, I get a fucking sniper from my chest. Oh, how unlucky is that, bro? I get a sniper from my chest. No, if I fucking hit that second shot, man. That actually triggers me.
Damn.
Gee, man. A sniper?
Damn.
How did this guy even get to me, bro? No way he landed there. There's no way.
Let's go.
Ja.
Players have to do.
Grandiosa
Hungry for them.
Norges mest spiste pizza, nå endelig med hjertestykker.
Mitt navn David Mokel, og jeg begynte å jobbe på McDonald's da jeg var 15 år gammel.
Jeg bryr meg ikke.
Det som til å mestre stresset. Når det
Ok,
kaos,
så
når
bra
alt
da.
bare skjer, og dra hjem da bare. Jeg klarte det faktisk.
Alle gutta mine bare.
Jeg bryr meg ikke.
Third match of the day.
Ja, og det var artig.
But Queasy and Thomas HD, from going down off spawn in the second match, they've dropped down to 8th place on the leaderboard. But with this quick knock, they have the advantage now.
No way. Oh.
And it's exactly
For close.
what gets done.
Yeah, I like the opportunity there, but he had the first shot with a frenzy just too far away to really land damage that matters. Belusi under pressure. Marius and Sangild already have one elimination, which is his duo, and he tries to take to fights, and then I've seen that work sometimes, but more times than not, the numbers game usually wins.
That was an engagement close to the Lavish layer, so you know these duos are also aware of what Thomas HD and Queasy's engagement is looking like. So seeing that one ended
Pixie,
early, I don't think they'll be looking for any sort of third party. Vidil and Reason feeling a lot more comfortable now. They're awake, like Levin said. No more naps, no more sleeping.
Ooh, sniper.
The grand finals, the last chance.
Ooh, sniper.
To show your worth in this major. And they are a duo that are looking like they can take it home.
Tar litt damage for NPC-en. Botten, Pixel.
Over here towards Snooty Steps. Typically, you see a lot of teams kind of just battle it out for the Mythic, for the Medallion, without too many cares in the world. They kind of play it by ear. They let those opportunities come to them. But looks like George. Look at the basket. They finally drop down. They're going to find him. No
Yeah.
Seek. It's all about finishing the job, and that one's going to come through easy. Just stuck on the side of a mountain. And then Vasquez are going to be no more here in this lobby, which kind of opens up a possible forecast tower, because more times than not, it was them that were going for it.
And that forecast tower can be crucial for making sure you safely make it to the late game, having that vision of the upcoming zones before your competitors. Reason and Vidil just continuing with their planned out loot path, as they know they do have some players close by. However, there's nothing they need to do other than loot right now.
You're just trying to find for both of them to get a grappler, maybe some fizzes, some crash pads.
Det tror jeg Peter det var.
It's going to be the most important things that they're looking for. Rotation, mixing pings. Almost looks like they're trying to cut off a loot path, hide on a chest. Marius and Sangild, gotta be careful. It's no longer just a trick coming out from Misha and Teeny. Everybody really taking note and trying to add some sort of that strategy to their game plan. Will it work though? They sense it. They sense something's up. Nothing's easy. They try to go ahead and 2v1 pings on the other side. Marius go ahead and adds a huge flank and a couple of shots. Going to allow his teammate Sangild to get out almost unscathed.
It does not work.
Ja, dock.
From hiding, now to on their knees.
Det var et dumt valg egentlig, å sette begge på samme plass.
To maximize damage as the 2v1 mix in now.
Nice pre-fighting.
Put into panic. He needs to make something happen in this duel.
It's a nice first shot being fired. He's trying to finish it off. Back to back.
Oh.
Great attempt from Mixon. Unfortunately, the 2v1
Sangild
really firing the defining shot to take him down, but he was putting in work, whittling down his opponents, chipping him down one shot at a time. Fortunately enough, he has to kind of watch the rest of this game out on the sidelines.
Some of Mrs. Savage or
fencing fields, you can see nobody else is really over in this location anymore. Everybody kind of disengaged on out, leaving Malibu.
Yay!
All the time in the world to
farm de kommer ikke så qualified fordi det her er game 9. Det 3 games igjen.
Such a consistent FNCS.
Nei, det
Not just today,
begynner å
but
bli dårlig nå.
multiple second places yesterday. Their team, I feel like, are in the running towards the top.
Jeg begynner å bli dårlig.
They have such a strong early game as well. Getting the vault every match, getting the medallion.
Jeg begynner å bli dårlig.
It's a huge benefit to the rest of their match, just like these forecast towers that Giraz and Cherry are going for. They might have even already gotten it. You can see the Elim on the board. Or they're just waiting for the NPCs to spawn still. Taking a look at the surrounding areas. Farming up, making sure they're staying efficient. They don't want to be put into place here, doing nothing. Either you could be farming, either you could be looking for tags. There's always something you want to do. And let's take a look at here at the most aggressive forecast battle we've seen. But what's going on here, Jacob? I see Vico, I see Pink. I don't see any eliminations, and I don't see any Kiduo or Kiro.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder with how it's been going, trading off between the two. You can kind of see when Vico and Pink get there first, Kiro and Kudo, they either play it slow, they take high ground, or they disengage completely. But on the other way around, more times than not, Pink and Vico are ready to fight for it. So it does look like they were just there first to the punch and really kind of pushing teams out as they try to enter in.
Tyson of Vino.
Even players trying to launch pad into the distance, becoming targets of Vico.
We can see here.
Kiduo
is at the Grand Glacier with his duo partner. They are refarming. Currently in 13th place on the leaderboard, right beside Vico
Noah
and
Riley.
15th. Everybody close in terms of points, though. You can see it's 218 for 17th, and I believe 228 all the way up to 13th. Just a couple eliminations separating them. As Diox and Cade now, as well with 0 on the board, will just continue getting themselves into a better position.
Nice find there. Fizz, floppers. A lot of this loot towards the shoreline does remain unlooted until a team like this rotates on pass, not really expecting to find much. It's usually a blessing in disguise. Flowberry Fizz coming on out. Say Diox and Cade. Their path currently is going to be cut off by Volko and Vortexers, which kind of separated, but not too far off to cause too many worries. They were able to get one of the forecast towers. Wax and Pixie looking like they're going to be able to get the other. And obviously the first one that we saw, Pink and Vico, they're going to have the third.
Rotate continues now. Objective secured, loot secured. And after the forecast towers, now the engagements usually end up for those combat caches that will spawn at an equal distance between two teams.
Pixel,
So if we start to see a
Pablo,
lot more box
and
fights,
Bebe.
that is why. Taking a look at Pablo and his duo partner Bevies, who have been performing incredibly well here at the start of day 2. You can see up in 3rd place now. Merstash Malabuka 2nd, Vidil Recent up back on their throne in 1st. But all it takes is one big game, like we saw, to change up the leaderboard.
And it almost makes me wonder if they're just able to stay alive as a full duo. As Marius kind of misses the crash pad play, hits his head on the roof. Like, how good would Pablo and Bevies be on that leaderboard if they were able to play out those respective games together? Might have made a big difference.
It's always the what-ifs, Jacob. It's always the what-ifs.
For candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
And a happy holidays. Marius and Sanguild with 4 on the board. On the train tracks, this is, I believe, where the last game did end. As we look at Volko Vortexers, you said it yourself, Jacob. First victory royale in an FNCS finals yesterday. They've been getting to the late game, especially in the first match, but not yet able to secure another win.
Bro.
Sapphire gets a knock on the
Vino?
feed.
Dead.
And even gets the cleanup. That's not the best situation for them to be in, especially with a comeback opportunity.
Oh.
I even saw Veno after one of those games talking about taking back control. Just watch. You got to imagine, probably with a statement like that, maybe getting a little aggressive, because you know as well as I do, one of their biggest problems throughout this FNCS is how they're handling Surge in these set lobbies, which not necessarily been going their way, and they've been kind of having to really dig deep, put themselves into risky situations just to find that Surge. And I got to imagine that has to be another one.
You can see Tayson has been left alone. Veno knocked out of the match. Once again, another solo we're following. Who's in the top of the leaderboard? They have dropped down, you can see, though, to 10th place with 326 points. But we said it recently, one big match is what they need. They got it in the last game of day 1. And anything's possible here in day 2.
Gotta be able to have mental toughness. It's a marathon. It's not just a race across the finish line. Got to be able to stay composed. And one thing I learned, you know, even though we do have those special cases, but not everything in an FNCS will go your way. And you got to be able to handle when things kind of go wrong and be able to bounce back. Can't just mentally give up. And you see iDrops by himself, trying to remain tough in a situation just like this. And it doesn't necessarily scare me too much. I've seen iDrop clutch in some of the biggest moments, including this FNCS, just to make it to this stage. As Veno gets Tayson gets Veno back into the game. But there is going to be another team ready to pounce. They're trying to take him down, and Veno gets dropped just as fast as he got rebooted back into the game, which leaves Tayson by himself. Lazen and Lox are going to be the team trying to disrupt and really try to stop the incredible FNCS run between Tayson and Veno. Tayson doing a good job of fighting back. Brings Lazen down to just a sliver of shield. Full HP, though, is buying himself even more time with each shot that gets fired.
An emergency for Tayson, put into crisis, as now he's in the 1v2. It looks like the opponents almost want to force out this engagement. With the shots coming from Tayson, they look a little scared, as they're not being completely aggressive here. Has the time to recuperate his shield with that Flowberry Fizz. Zone gets closer and closer now, as there's just 22 seconds left. Grapple Blade will be put to good use. iDrop is going to be another player close by. So many things can go wrong here.
iDrop used the opportunity. He got the cheeky elimination on Veno. Even though he doesn't get credit, he was able to not only loot it up, get just a couple more shots for his overall Storm Surge. Tayson sneaks in, grabs Veno's card, and is immediately trying to disengage on out and go for reboot attempt number 2.
iDrop continuing to build behind him. He will be able to reuse this match, but Tayson, with shots like those, cracking iDrop. Is he going to force the fight from this? He is a solo. He could use a bit of extra loot, but he sees the duos close by. He cannot take a lot of time. It's either get in or get out.
I think he's taking notice of that, and you can almost see the decision making in real time as he disengages on out. Shield isn't necessarily too much of a worry here for Tayson, as long as he doesn't get chipped away at his HP. Finally, the disengage is going to come through. You know he has Veno's reboot card, and the goal is to get him back into the game. And after that, goal 2 is find some sort of a refresh, because Tayson now doesn't look the most healthy in terms of materials. Now imagine when Veno comes back and they got to split it between them both.
Definitely not going to be easy. Scary from Merstash. No shield, sliver of HP. Although Malibuka has built around the flag here, so it looks like they should be able to secure a bit of extra loot as the medallion gets split up, so they do not have to use those consumable heals so early on. They should be able to get some extra as well now. The question is, though, will these other duos close by apply pressure, or will they just keep reforming?
He's second place, 433 points. Not only going to be able to capture that, but they're on top of Rift Island. Good way in towards zone as well. So no matter where it pushes or pulls, Malibuka and Merstash, whether they use the Flowberry Fizz or just the regular old launch pad, we're going to have an easy chance rotating in towards zone. Tayson still, you can see he's still trying to find that reboot card.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. He is taking the safer option to go to Grand Glacier, though, inside of the zone. And he's not the only player that's getting a reboot here. It's iDrop, but you saw the duo creeping in once again in a similar scenario to what Tayson just went through. iDrop picks up Nebs. Nebs, on the other hand, though, isn't going to go down just yet. But they're forced again into an engagement, into this battle where they don't have the advantage in.
Yeah, Nebs and iDrop just need to figure out a way to reunite. But Andalix and Sato giving them more than enough opportunity as they're going to crash pad their way towards zone. So now it's just about giving yourself time here in a situation like this, even if you're deep in zone, just like Nebs and iDrop are, just to try to farm up, get as many resources. You've done enough at this stage to get your teammate back into the game, and now you just need to push yourself over that line. Same thing could be said about Tayson and Veno. And since they do land over towards Grand Glacier, they can recycle a lot of this loot, anything that they did leave behind from earlier on in the same match before they rotate on over. But Tayson's going to be the one leading the charge. He's going to find his spot. And then later, Veno will reunite into the same box once that comes to fruition.
Going to the launch pads. But naturally placed on top of the mountain here to fly right back into zone. They should be able to make it all the way. They even have those spare medkits to heal up, but I wonder how much damage Tayson was able to get. He did quite a bit in those engagements, so it shouldn't be too bad for this duo, but they will definitely need to do a bit of work in these upcoming zones.
Does look like we got another pool, not too far away though from the current zone. So Tayson and Veno, that's a little bit of a blessing, so they don't have to keep rotating towards the northwest part of the map away from Rift Island, but they immediately get spotted out by Seti, who cracks the shield. And typically that would be a great opportunity to go, but you see Seti and Cammy separated on two different ends of Reckless Railway, not really able to take advantage of that damage. But instead, they're going to do the next best thing. Try to reunite on the other side of the zone, but as we tune in, Malibuca and Mustache in another fight on the other side. They're able to at least get one. AR Bafo is going to be the only one left, and they're hot on the heels, melting through a lot of these builds, just trying to get that 6 extra points for their efforts. And just like that, that's going to be achieved, and that's 12 overall at the top of Rift Island that Malibuca and Mustache just gathered.
Quick, nice little 12 for Mustache and Malibuca to give. Oh, that was a disgusting snipe. To give Bafo the benefit of the doubt, the last time he did compete in the finals was over 1,280 days ago in Chapter 2 Season 3. Actually, the longest of any player in this lobby, even longer than Mongrel. So it must be tough. But for iDrop and Nebs, they are going for the combat cache, but they're going to need to get into a bit of action if they want to secure it. 35 above, they've done a bit of damage. 41 shield, 35 HP as the zone keeps ticking.
Yeah, luckily for them, they did get the combat cache in which you were talking about, which grants them medkits and more time to fight in towards the zone, but iDrop has to go ahead and pop his first one now. Nebs needs to play defensive. Allow him to pop that medkit without really canceling it, but opponents on the other side, Dandy and Stas, it does look like they're down on Surge, so they really have no other choice but to keep fighting this. So if they disengage, that'll be all their HP, all their heals. iDrops and Nev, they did just enough to stay ahead of the curve. 29 is better than nothing. iDrop's trying to go in, gain a little bit more advantage. The first knock is going to come through with ease. iDrop and Nebs, though, still under pressure on the other side. Another team towards the outskirts taking notice, starting to put shots in that direction. iDrop wins the fight, but Nebs goes down again.
They needed to take this fight. They needed those eliminations to get the refresh, but as Neb's been knocked, iDrop forced to leave him, continue as a solo. We can see what happened here with Veno and Tayson. They just were making their way back into zone, but Seti and Cammy stopped them. Is that what's going to lead to their demise, as it looks like the zone might have got the best of them?
Yeah, unfortunately enough, it is confirmed Veno and Tayson go down outside of zone. Another game where the struggles continue, which is really leaving them in a position, even with 1.5 points, they need top performances. And I need all caps when it comes to those top performances if they want to have a chance at not only the first place prize, but that global championship, which is granted to the top 2 teams in this competition.
Malibuca Mustache currently in 2nd place. Now this is a duo that competed together in FNCS, but ended up splitting at the beginning of Chapter 4. It would be amazing to see them take home a title after joining forces once again. The deal and reason, though, they might stop that from happening if they continue the dominance like we saw from the last match.
Yeah, you can see they got that max pull, and instead of fighting a risky fight, the team that's in first place. It does look like they're going to try to crash pad, rotate on out. But they're just double checking before they go ahead, maybe even popping a little bit of a med kit on the side of Vidil. Crash pad finally coming out. And this is where the rotation is going to begin for Reason and Vidil. Even Seti going down to Shimoki, though, while everybody's making their way over. And if you look at the rotation, look at the mini-map, Takada. There is nobody in sight in front of Vidil and Reason. They just got themselves a free rotation.
I mean, with 3 Elims, it's not like they need a lot of damage either. This is very impactful for this duo. I mean, the only ones you can see Astral Art skill kind of in the zone there. But they should just be able to almost walk in here. They might even wait a little bit so that the other duos begin their rotating. The focus gets onto them before using the crash.
Nei, vel da, bare ikke komme på.
Crash pad's gonna go down. They're gonna take the rotate early and have the option to look back at the duos rotating in. He can even slide up this hill here.
Jeg var nede på.
They might just be the most elevated duo as the quick scope comes through, unable to connect the headshot. But that's still a big tag.
I was just laughing to myself momentarily. As soon as they got the crash pad off, you see that team just immediately close up their box.
Så var det jo faen ikke. Farsken til å lege. Jeg hater mest det, og det at folk sier jeg skal komme på om så lang tid. Så kommer de ikke på. Det er det jeg hater aller mest. Jeg hater det så mye. For jeg føler det er bare disrespektfullt, egentlig. Jeg vet ikke, jeg bare føler det er disrespektfullt. Jeg synes det er fett disrespektfullt. Og aldri til å komme da du sier du skal komme. Jeg skjønner, ok, sånn 2-3 minutter for sent, det er greit. Men sånn da du er skal vi se her da. Altså en halvtime for sent. Nei, 10 minutter for sent, da begynner jeg så strette. Litt egentlig. Ja, da det begynner å bli disrespektfullt, egentlig, å si at du skal komme opp på i en sånn bestemt tid, og så gjør du ikke det. Etter en stor, lang periode, det er jo egentlig bare det dummeste du kan gjøre. 3 minutter gå til helt seg så godt. Han har ikke vært i renkning engang, det er det verste. Verste qualityen. Det var egentlig ikke så ille nå. Ok, kan kjøre, der det pikser litt, ja, men faen, jeg vet ikke. Kjører skinnet var jo ikke så ille, egentlig. Men tallene er jo faen meg umulig å survive, da. Så det går ett AK på det, så... Ja, sånn, var ikke så ille. En god del kodedøds. Sånn. Kjempeartig da. Skulle jo aldri komme på da. Fy faen, jeg har det artig med å ha dem som skal se. Kjempebra da. Men nei. Kommer aldri på da. Jeg kan være noe live. For nesten 2 timer. Men jeg får det ikke med på. Jeg valgte å se på FNCS. Jeg tror jeg kommer til å komme på noe, men det gjør det ikke så aldeles sikkert. Så jeg gikk jo frem for å se på FNCS. Til å spille. Altså her, altså... Hva skjer da? Jo, jeg skal forklare deg det. Han kommer ikke, da han kjenner skal komme. Så, vi får til å se på FNCS. Jeg først åpne den og få på tabben. Se på FNCS.
He's no stranger to winning a major. However, Thomas, on the other hand, has narrowly missed out in the past, but now they are one step closer to flying towards that Axe of Champions mini minor. And actually...
Holy fuck. Because Queasy found something. Queasy, oh my god, Queasy found medkits. Damn, Queasy and Thomas win.
Yep. Nice.
Alright, chat, let's quick check the leaderboard real quick. 1 minute till next game.
Jesus, Savage.
3 games left. You got Malibu and Merstash in first.
Ooh.
Reason with
Nice.
Deal in second. Holy shit, they would have been ahead by so much if they didn't throw that game. Easy and Thomas in third now. Probably Baby's fourth.
Arup top T. Nice.
Oh, Merstash Malibu have been so consistent today. They got fucked. They went off spawn. Alright, come on. 2 games left, bro. Let's get some late games now.
Huh.
Get some late. Ah. Here?
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? Fucking bus is going so quick.
Muszę pomyśleć cały czas.
Okay, I'll tell you when to drop. We need to drop like... Oh, I'll just let you know.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. My glider bugged a bit.
Well, like, is that
Make sure
really what it says to drop?
Yeah. Make sure you look towards market. They drop the same time as us, so...
I am. Five best.
They're on the right. We outdropped them so hard. Can you land the window?
Chest. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not getting the chest either. I'm landing on this one. I'm landing this chest here. I got a pump as well. They double stacked the roof, I think.
Okay.
I got minis. I'm
30 white.
looking at the roof. I got minis, SMG. Shotgun.
Okay.
Would you key them? Give me. I'm giving you a mini.
I got minis. Yeah.
I got a drone. Come barrels, quick.
Yeah. They're in the left.
Hey, come. Just pop them. Key this guy on the truck. He's in the truck. He's running. Third white. 16, 19. Dead. I need to heal. I have no mats.
There's a guy there.
They try to run. Go get the finish.
Yeah. His friend might shoot me.
You have mats.
I'm going for that shot.
Okay. That's easy. I got a good chest there. Careful third parties again. There's a big here. I think I'm just doing this. Grappler here, I have one already. Okay. Under this there.
I don't have a shotgun, so tell me if you're fine.
Yeah. Oh. I just got a gold pump. I'm gonna go box up the card in metal.
Kjempeartig.
Careful of fucking crash pad players.
Ja. Kjempeartig. Spurte hvor lang tid det kommer til å ta. Du sier, ja, ok. Så da enten med 34 eller 39.
Do you have any shield or?
Eksamen!
No, yeah, no shield.
Jeg er så lei av folk som aldri sier at de skal faen meg komme. Jeg er så fette lei av det nå. Jeg klikker faen meg. For jeg blir lei.
Did you drop a shotgun on
Til
the
at
pump?
ingen skal komme. Det har gått 20 minutter nå. Helt siden jeg skulle komme. Nei.
By the shelves.
Så fette lei.
By the shelf where I died with a sniper.
I det minste si at du tar... Kjem ikke da. På så lang tid. Du må ta og gi dem noe. Si for det, så personene vet det. Det er det minste. Jeg kaller det så det høflig for Fox 6. Men nei da. For en halvtime nå siden han jo har så chatta.
Did you loot everything?
My push. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm fine. Go into the dark. I'm close to you. I'm close to you. Okay. Break inside. Break inside.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, Choto though. Yes, come back. Come back. Just heal.
You got meg
Oh, I got big.
Jeg kan ikke. Jeg kan ikke.
Bandage free. Okay. The minis.
Nice.
Fuck do these kids want, man? Grappling. One. Careful satellite. Careful satellite.
Yeah.
On the tunnel.
Fine.
On the tunnel.
You dropping that mech kit?
I'm breaking this down first. Here. Rip all my fucking mats.
Ja. Ja, i hvert fall så er det en person som driver og chatter med deg da, hæ? Som svarer deg. Fuck meg. Hva game er vi på nå egentlig?
Each other off the
Game
start.
T.
They're focused more on looting up and continuing the rest of their path.
God
They have
damn.
this plan down to the second.
Come on, we need to go dark again. Careful on the mountain. You're looking from the tunnel mountain. You like farm around here, farm all the brick and wood.
Yeah. Did you get MPs or not?
No, I didn't. We still loot this though. I got a bit.
I'm actually gonna be good off this. I still have 400 metal.
I'm 4 minis, 1 big.
Bro, jeg orker ikke. Jeg kødder ikke engang. Jeg tror jeg seriøst ender fucking streamen. Så bare, nei, ikke ender, men...
So looted.
Faen ta, altså. Hvor lei jeg er til folk som aldri svarer.
Come over this way. Let's just go dead side and just fucking shit on some team.
Fordi det er lei. Jeg er lei til folk som aldri skal svare meg. Han svarer, men også spør jeg, ok, hvor lang tid tar det?
Cap 2.
By the way, han er... Nei, han er jo bort. Jeg spør når den er 10 minutter. Altså, har det gått 10 minutter? Så skal du selv det, bra, 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 bra. Så spør jeg hvor lang tid det tar. Altså 25 minutter. Ok, og det var kvart over. 2015 var det da. Og nå er det 21:01.
This is not a sniper.
Så nesten en fuckings team!
It's a fucking AR, man.
Oh, that's an L from me, bro.
That's a fucking L.
Thanks, you're big, bro.
Hey, come here. Come. Just fucking... Very crash pad. Oh. Yo, we are some clowns, bro.
Are you taking the
Yeah, why is it up on the wall?
Hey, go. I'll follow.
Let's go, man.
Bro, hva i helsike de melder på meg?
Are you cap 0?
Det, du vet...
Let's go up here and then we need to come.
Hva i helvete tok det så fette lang tid da?
Jeg lager vaffelkaka.
Å, så si det da!
Telefonen min lå oppe.
Åh. Og du velger ikke å prøve å si inform meg at jeg er litt vekk det da. At jeg vet da du kommer til å bruke litt lengre tid.
Nei, ikke det.
Nei, ikke sant. Det kalles jo det høflig.
39. plass.
Ja, hvem da? Hvem du snakker om? Med Mongo og Mrs. Savage, ja?
Ja,
de er 88 poeng.
Hæ?
Ja, 88 poeng, det er så fett.
Det er ikke på 8, det er 18 poeng.
Ja, selve turnen, ja, men du må jo faen meg gå på cumulative, bro. Sånn alle poengene de har fått. Fordi det er jo splittet i 2 dager der. De har fått...
45. plass er ikke sant. Ja, jeg skal bare si at 10 000 hver.
Ja, akkurat nå så er de på 45. Så det... Og så har du faen meg Malibuka 523 poeng, liksom. Jesus Christ. Det er litt skrekkelig. Det er jo så sjekk på... Vet ikke. Ja, jeg vet ikke hva jeg skal si engang.
Vet du hva, jeg synes egentlig han Vadil skal... Han har racen og... Faen. Hvor han...
Hæ, kan du snakke om?
Ja, han fin cola. Deilig.
Hvem du snakker om nå?
Mange forskjellige folk. 7. plass på Platana, 2. plass.
Astro.
Victor. Ikke tenk på det. Ikke tenk på det. Bare... Hør et sang her nå, så skal jeg være tilbake om få straks. Ikke tenk på det.
Jeg kan ikke. Jeg kan seriøst ikke noe mer. Hallo. Hallo.
Hunter du? Hunter du? Hunter du? Sindre, kan du?
Hva du vil.
Kan du?
Kan du?
Ja, kanter du.
Wow.
En kid.
Gem Hacket 09. Oh my days. Jesus, har du hørt for noe, Ailo? Ailo?
Ja, egentlig. Gemhacket 09.
Ja, og så andre personer. Simses. Simses Roms. Og den ene personen er jo faen meg AFK også. Hvordan i helsike har han 15 000 poeng?
Derfor har han 15 000. Ene personen tilbake, 26.
Fy faen, jeg holder på å klippe av ene personen. My days da! Han skal bare stå der og spray. Jeg skal bomme alle skuddene mine. Han er 2 HP. Og du bare står her og ikke pusher. Ok. Da sier han er 2 HP. Men det er ikke noe mer da. Da er det jo latt han få heal til maks.
Okay.
Cool. Bak deg. Det er nok sikkert healing på kardet mitt. Nei, det er det sikkert ikke, for han har sikkert tatt alt. Det er det healing i hvert fall. Hvordan i helsike er du fortsatt i live? Ja, faen da, altså. Han skal jo være død for lenge siden.
HP og du dealer 155 damage.
Ja, men det her er gamet, Ailo. Fordi at jeg har dealet mer enn 155. Har jeg? Ja, jeg har dealet mer enn 155.
Ok. Godtar det.
Sånn er gamet med det. Fordi jeg døver jo på en person som har dealet 190. 30. Crack.
Selvfølgelig setter han andre med i bygget. Prøv deg, Sindre.
Hæ? Ja, skal vi se på damage? Nei, det er lov.
Ja. De la 100.
Jeg har en person til støvet og tatt 199 HP. Okay. As you can see, Fortnite can't math. No sniper.
Fante.
Klarer ikke å hitte en shit, på grunn av at jeg er bad.
105. Teamet kommer opp.
Jeg vet, jeg har fått en bug. Jeg har fått en bug. Jeg har fått en bug, jeg klarer ikke å gå. Jeg klarer ikke å gå! For et mannskit og et spill! Han går så i disse teameten.
Vet du.
Og så edit... Ok. Liksom, det mest braindead person som eksisterer i fuckings hele mankind! Hvordan har han 15 000 poeng? Bare drepper han allerede.
Ja...
Bro, du vet det buggen, vet du, da du ikke får... Du beveger deg 2 steg frem og så 1 tilbake, ja?
Ja.
Ja, jeg får den, fikk jeg. Så jeg fikk jo faen ikke lov til å bevege meg. Din wood-vegg da, by the way. Din wood-stair. Din... Liksom... Forklar meg hvordan han har 15 000 poeng, eller?
Om han er livet, for faen.
Ja, selvfølgelig. Forklar meg, men jeg vil seriøst forstå hvordan i helvete han har 15 000 poeng.
Det er sikkert bronse i rank, da. Åh, nei. Du tar den, du, eller? 56.
Fortnite,
da. 996 damage.
Fortnite. Blir fucking sær leia på, bitch. Jeg tabber ut, jeg.
Pickaxe.
Faen meg tabba ut, for fuck's sake. Sniper du, ja.
Åh, nei da, du. 50. I wanna be together with the fun part.
Jesus Christ.
191 damage. 191 damage.
Ja, hva var det jeg sier? Fortnite, eller? Jeg skjønner seriøst ikke hva den her til å si måte. Vær så god, Elo.
Snipe han.
Og jeg valgte å si assassinate.
Ja, nå har vi dealet mer enn dem. Ja.
Jeg skjønner ikke hvordan han er 15 000 poeng. Jeg skjønner seriøst ikke. Han er så fett ass. How? How? Bro, som... Åh, skal vi inn i huset nå fordi vi klarer ikke å fight folk?
Wow!
Bro, jeg har fått samme buggen igjen. Får ikke lov til å gå ordentlig. Herregud.
Han er 53 år oppe.
Ja, men se på meg. Får ikke lov til å gå til CS.
Du går helt normalt.
Ja, ikke åt meg, og det er fett irriterende.
Herregud da, hvor retard du er. Kan ikke du bare kjøre heal-off med han?
Nei, vet du, jeg skal gå
det kan jeg. Det får jeg ikke lov til å gjøre nå. Åh, fy faen. Du fikk det seriøst. Tar han det virkelig så på alvor? Sett i taket.
Ja, det enda det ikke. Kom igjen. Han er livet. Ja, kom igjen da, Ailo. Hopp ned da. Ailo!
Ikke enda.
Faen, nå skulle jeg rive deg ned. Ja, kom an da! Ja, men det...
Ja, jeg hopper ned nå. 245 meter. Du døde av 3 meter fall. Bare bad people der.
Ja, men du vil jo ikke spille det andre der det er ranked i. Så da vet jo ikke jeg. Du vil jo ikke spille noe med 2v2. Og det er sånn poengsystem. Orker du ikke så få en del poeng på, og vi møter gode folk. Så du skjønner ikke hvorfor du så klager da. Det er bare dårlige folk da du ikke velger så faen meg. Nei. Du er en idiot. 1 time og 9 minutter igjen til FNC selvfølgelig. Hvem er på førsteplass nå da? Tom og Sage D og Dasken, ja. Han er på første nå. Skal vi se her, da. Hvor tror du Mr. Savage Mongo er da, Ilo? Wow, de har endelig fått 100 poeng. Oh. Jesus Christ, da.
Ja, de kommer til å kåle. Nei, de vinner hele dritten, sånn som Sang gjør.
Ja, de får vinne de 2 siste gamesene som er igjen, og droppe 20 bomb. Ja.
Ja.
Ja. Det verste er at de trenger bare til å vinne og få noen få healers, så får de jo sånn fett mye poeng. Fordi noen hadde sånn 86 poeng, eller ikke sant? De vant. Jeg vet ikke hvor mye poeng de hadde da, etterpå.
Sikkert 200.
Ja, 216 poeng.
Ikke sant.
Ja, så du får bare, ved å vinne så får du jo fette mye poeng. Fuck meg. Au.
Feeling won't let me sleep, 'cause I'm lost in the way you move, the way you feel. One kiss is all it takes. Fall in love with me, positively. I look like all you need.
Oh my god. 3 shotgunner, 2 sånne her, og 1 sånn.
Gøy.
Og 0 healing. Og en
Perfect
sniper.
start for Sindragen. Ikke sant? That's what we like to see, Sindragen. Cause I'm lost in the way you move, the way you feel. One kiss is all it takes. Rolling in love with me. Possibilities. I look like all you need. One kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me. Possibilities. I look like all you need.
Ja, perfekt. Sånn. Hva faen er... Kulene spanner ikke. What?
That's delicious. Feeling let me sleep. Cause I'm lost in the way you move, the way you feel. Sindre?
Ja.
Har du skaffet deg sommerjobb i sommer?
Kanskje. Jeg vet da faen, jeg. Det er jo så å vente på svar.
Ja, ok. Ja, jeg skal sende inn søknad i morgen, tror jeg.
Ja, jeg har søkt inn 2 søknader. Fortsett. Jo, de fortsetter så. Det ene må jeg jo vente helt til det slutter med søknadene, så... Ja, inna. Tar så unødvendig strøm der. Ja, det er.
Satan, hvor langt inn stormen da? You won't let me stay, 'cause I'm lost in the way you move, the way you feel. One kiss is all it takes, falling with me, possibilities. Åh. Ta lokkompisten herfra, bang, 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 dead. Åh, jeg har sett skillbøker i en pizza kommer til å kaste noe. Forhåpentligvis må få et par floppers.
Jeg tror jeg må lide å ta dem, ass.
Nei, jeg har ikke det.
Ja, de har selvfølgelig kjøpt meg.
1, 2, ja, that's pretty bad, Sindre. Går den for deg?
Vi tar 1 for 25, og så headshot over gang. Så hittar den direkt på 75.
Jeg holder på å ta med skilling.
Ja,
og floppers og...
Akkurat nå så setter de og camper her. Ja, de kommer mot meg, Nailo.
Ja, jeg kommer til hvor du kan.
Ja, jeg kommer inn litt sånn til der nå.
Ja.
Kanskje ikke. 34.
Kommer motorsykkel. Bare sett på height, bare sett på height, bare sett på height.
Ja, jeg driver også gjør det. Så venter nå.
De prøver ikke å shotte deg.
Nei.
Jeg er inne. Hvor er med han? Ok, jeg kommer opp.
Jeg må komme til crash-pad, hva? Hitt den for 50. Han som datt ned. 75 på han der.
22. Teammaten er inne der, tror jeg. Ja.
Ja.
Den her kommer.
25.
Really? Har 0 movement da.
20.
Ingenting dette hit da.
Kan du doppe meg i ram, og så dopper jeg deg først ram også.
Ja, ok.
Faen til fair trade også.
Wow! Dere har blitt den. Ene stak til venstre, andre stak til høyre.
Ja, men de har jo sikkert møttes opp nå. Ja, nei.
Ja, kjør bil.
Ja, faen ta altså. Det er faktisk at de tar over en toveien og velger å bruke så lang tid, det er... Vi viser jo hvorfor.
Litt om Ilo in creative-modus.
Ja, og det der, hva det endte opp med? At de tok mer damage enn det vi gjorde. Vi tok jo damage en gang til dem. Skal vi gå for tårnet her, egentlig?
Ja, jeg føler den egentlig.
Ok.
Der er bossen.
Jeg vet det.
Bare lokk på. Ja, faen, jeg har jo misforstått noe. Nei, jeg trodde du bare kunne skyte her på folk, og så hit, ikke sant? Det kan du ikke. Nei, nei, jeg skjønner. Du må lokke inn på dem, og så må du få, ja, men hør her. Det er ikke nøye hvor langt det er. Det er ikke nøye hvor langt det er. Så lenge du har fått lokket inn på dem, og du har hittet, eller fått alle 4 der, ikke sant?
Det er med det bortpå. Ja, jeg vet det. Så kjente jeg for meg bilen deres. De er jo sikkert, de er max HP nå, men fortsatt. Jeg tok supplyed det opp. Jeg kjører dem.
Kom igjen.
Stekk av. De fører til Michelangelo nå, eller?
Nei da, du. Huff, nå må vi fighte dem. Jeg skal kjøre. What? Byen forsvant.
Ja, artig. Ja, der har du noe.
Michelangelo. Det er så langt dit det.
Jeg tror de er så skjedd etter tiden, altså.
Satan, hva du kom til å gjøre om du ser en homsepatrulje sånn som her? Må motorsykkelen med lock-on business.
Det er ikke dem, da. 25. Sniper! Eller, det var ikke sniper. Jo da, det var det.
Litt gjennom og greier. Er på nytt? Nei.
Faen, det... Faen, meg sten, de skulle ha blokket meg en gang, vet du. Satan, nå går dere skal spray! 22.
71. Crack!
Jeg cracka dynamo.
Ja.
Super.
Fire på dynamo.
Ja, jeg begynner å gå ut og få mett her nå.
157! Hvordan har han så mye HP? Ikke 31! Fucking, og så 157! Blank i hodet! Deli. Andre fette lav.
Det er fortsatt void. Faen, jeg vet jo ikke hvor noe med tvartene en gang. Det er... What? Det stod jo faen meg edit på den.
Jeg stod hittet 157. Så pizza igjen. Pizza.
Ja, vi tar det. Oi!
Ned. Den er fin, Sindre. Michelangelo streik seg inn det. Jeg tror jeg har floppers på gangen mitt. I hvert fall oppe. Bare inne fighten.
Nei, shit.
Jeg har flopper der. Jeg har flopper der.
Ja. Faen, jeg tror det var noe nybygd, vet du ikke.
Ja.
Ja, jeg lurer på hvor den
Ruin Reeks, kanskje. Ruin Reeks.
Ja, men jeg vil ha helst av White. Ja, jeg vet det. Men jeg vil se etter Whiting heller. Bare noe Whiting.
Coconut er også Whiting.
Jeg vet det.
Nei, 70 oppe, 80 oppe, blue.
En pizza. Det var medkit selv. Oh my days. Du har vinterferie i morgen, du.
Ja.
Ok. Folk er faen meg! De går for å capture deg!
Ja. Ja, de gjorde ikke det.
Nice! 57 får den!
Ja, jeg er fette lav.
Jeg har høyt.
Jeg har 50 oppe. 36 oppe. Jeg er dead. Selvfølgelig. Dere er så fette blodtørst.
Jeg blir kjøtt gjennom builds.
Jeg vet ikke.
For idiot, stapp ned.
Finish. Åh, fikk mye loot on the die.
10 builds.
Det er crack.
Jeg har fortsatt 10 builds an.
18 white. Jim kommer om til. 40 white, eller...
OK, Epic! Det er ikke fordi jeg ikke... Oi, ikke vant! Det er et lyd! Forbanna munnskit! Spill! Hvor er lyden av den? Jeg vil ha lyd, men bare fordi jeg skyter et våpen av en person som skal skyte et våpen, så hører jeg ikke det kommer noen bak meg!